It is 10:01. Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Lucas Panzica. The spring transfer portal is officially open, and Tennessee quarterback Nico Yimalava is officially in the portal, but with a do not contact tag, according to multiple reports. The NBA playoffs started Tuesday with the play-in games, and the Golden State Warriors secured the 7th seed in the West with a 121-116 win over the Memphis Grizzlies. The Magic beat the Atlanta Hawks 120-95 for the 7th seed in the East. In NFL news on Tuesday, veteran left tackle Tyron Smith is calling it a career, signing a one-day contract with the Cowboys to retire officially in Dallas after 14 seasons, 13 in Dallas, 1 with the New York Jets, and 5 All-Pros to go with 8 Pro Bowls for Smith. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Does Cam Ward know ball? That's the question. Some very pandering statements made by the future Titans quarterback. Was it last night on a Fortnite stream? How many people in the audience just turned around and said, who on a what? That's right. That's how we're opening the radio show this morning on a Wednesday. We're very happy to have you, Lucas, Burt, and me, with you until 1 o'clock before we take our journey to the zoo. And we go interview animals about who the number 1 overall draft pick should be. Because, of course, that's the kind of high-level journalism that you've come to expect from this fine program. 615-737-1045, the number if you want to hop in there. We would be happy to have you at any point. We got the dumbest thing in sports this week. Bart, do I have things to give away?
Not at this moment. Still waiting on verification of the amalgamation of the prize bucket.
I'm going to give the people responsible for filling the prize bucket some grace today because I'm on them about a great many other things. So perhaps by the time we get to 11 o'clock, I will be able to tell people that the prize bucket has been filled. Yes?
But I will say that we do have Winning Wednesday today where you can win tickets to the Nashville Sounds. At some point, wait for your cue to call, and you could be enjoying a Sounds game very soon.
How about that? All right. So Cam Ward gets on a Fortnite stream. Which clip do you want to start with? Which was your favorite? Actually, let me ask you, which was your favorite before we pick which one we're going to start with this morning?
Oh, my favorite had to be him answering the question of who's the best, not who's the best head coach, but asked to rank the best head coaches in the NFL.
Oh, I don't think I heard this one.
That was my favorite one. We got to save that one.
Okay, save that one for later. Let's instead open with Cam Ward on so if you're not familiar with Fortnite is a video game. It is a video game that you can live stream and play with other opponents or participants.
Much like any other video game. Yeah, come on. These people be cranking 90s. They know about golden pumps. They're ready to go. They've watched Fortnite before.
I'm assuming that the vast majority of the FM radio audience is not, in their free time.
I think you're wrong. If you've watched Fortnite before, just honk randomly right now all around town. I just
oh, my God, I can hear them. All right, quit mansplaining Fortnite. Everybody knows what a video game is. He was streaming on a video game. And let's hear Cam Ward talk ball.
Okay, so y'all already said really, Jamar, Justin.
I think Jamar is like the top.
And then for my last one, Traylon Burks.
That's Cam Ward ranking the best receivers in the National Football League, starting with Calvin Ridley, number 1, and Traylon Burks, number 4.
And then for my last one, Traylon Burks.
Leave no doubt, young fella.
Oh, it's so good.
I appreciate that he has a sense of humor. I appreciate that he's also pandering to Titans fans. I also appreciate that he is not going to be a talent evaluator anytime soon because he has Tony Pollard and Tajay Spears in his top 4 running backs and Traylon Burks and Calvin Ridley in his top 4 wide receivers. So, fortunately for Titans fans everywhere, Cam Ward will be drafted here, but he will not be making any other selections because his taste in personnel is questionable at best. But I like that he's already supporting his teammates. I mean, are we going to have to start watching? I mean, I probably already should be paying attention to like athletes' Twitch streams and stuff like that when A.J. Brown pops on Instagram Live after having 2 knee scopes and he's drugged up. Remember that one?
Oh, yeah.
That was a time had by all.
You know what? I wanted to give you a little something extra. You've done a lot of hard work, Buck. You've got the install coming up. We got a great guest we're going to announce on Thursday live with Greg Cosell. We've got the zoo trip today. I'll give you your flowers. You've been doing a great job. So for that, I'll play for you a clip that we were going to play later in the show. This is Cam Ward's top NFL coaches.
Well, I'm not naming top 5. I'm naming 5 head coaches I like. Number 1.
In the NFL right now?
Number 1. Brian Callahan.
Okay.
Number 2. Brian Callahan.
Okay.
Number 3. Brian Callahan. Number 4.
I think I'm starting to see the pattern.
Brian Callahan. Number 5. Brian Callahan.
I love you can just hear him opening chests, drinking minis, popping ammo. He's like, oh, yeah. That is doctored. He did not give Brian Callahan for all 5 options. I just changed
It's doctored?
I doctored it. You'll hear his actual top 5 coaches later in the show.
Of which, spoiler alert, Callahan was number 1.
Yeah.
That is not doctored.
I love the end of it, how good it sounds.
Number 4.
I'm starting to see the pattern.
Brian Callahan.
I mean, again, it's either locked and loaded, and that's what's happening, or the greatest smokescreen in the history of the NFL draft continues with now the prospect being involved.
See, aren't you glad that the Nico story happened for those of you who are complaining that we weren't talking enough draft? Because this is about as much draft news as there is to have.
Yes.
Regarding the Titans and the number 1 overall pick.
Dane Brugler put out his full 7-round mock draft on The Athletic.
Yeah, I saw that.
After authoring The Beast and that officially coming out.
He tweeted at the NFL before releasing it, hey, please no trades before I do this. Please no trades.
And there were no trades, which we'll talk about today. There have been no trades in the first round, but he, of course, mocked Cam Ward to the Titans and said it became clear at the Combine Ward would be the number 1 pick. The only question, would the Titans trade out or stick and pick themselves? Over the last month, it's become apparent that Tennessee plans to stay in the top spot and hand Ward the keys to its franchise.
Okay, so nothing's changed since February 28th. That's your draft update. Can we talk about some more interesting stuff now other than the future quarterback's live stream video game commentary on wide receivers that he's gaslighting? Please? Is there anything else out there in the news?
Does Nico game?
I mean,
Nico, your top 4 landing
If
spots.
Nico was going to be on a reality television show, he would be on Traders.
Oh.
He'd be a great Traders player.
Isn't that the one that you wanted me to audition for?
Yes. I would add that to the long list of things that I've wanted you to audition for.
Why do you want me to do reality TV?
I think it would be funny.
We've already got one of those running around. Sam Phelan, I think, just got back from his honeymoon. Why don't you put him on another reality TV show?
I would love for you to be on Traders. I would love for you to be on The Bachelor. I would love for you to be on Farmer Wants a Wife. I would love for you to be on...
Well, that's just because you're trying to make contact with that woman from Farmer Wants a Wife that was at the golf course the other day.
I'm telling you, they don't make them like that anymore. Love to shake her daddy's hand.
What is that? Farmer Wants a Wife. That's a reality show?
It's a reality TV show.
I think Buck would be exceptional on it.
Some girl at my gym went on it, and I don't think she was.
Buck is not half famous enough to be on a reality show like that.
None of these people are. The reality TV show makes you famous.
Well, sure, but then you also get the likes of, like, was it Michael Jordan's son on Traders?
Oh, I don't know. The one that was dating Scottie Pippen's ex-wife?
That was God, what was that? That's another show about, like, famous adjacent celebrities. Like, oh, you have a famous relative, and people try to guess your famous relative. I can't remember what it was called.
Okay, so that's a very specific genre. But for the most part, these people are just, they show up at casting, and then whichever ones are the most telegenic, they throw them on TV and take them to an island in Fiji and then make them gut it out for Survivor or something like that.
Except I would want to be your plus one. In your contract, since I'm the one applying for you for all these things, I would say that one of your requirements would be to have your handler there. I would be your handler.
So if Nico was doing a Fortnite stream and fielding questions, and he was getting asked not who are your top 4 receivers in the NFL, but what are your top 4 landing spots in the transfer portal, what would he be saying at this point? UCLA, Liberty, Tulane, Ferris State.
Ferris State.
They need a quarterback.
Yeah, they sure do, but they don't have the budget to accommodate Nico or really his father's demands at this point in time.
I don't know.
What do you think is more likely to happen? That Nico Yimalava plays college football this year for, I'm going to say, less than $2 million. Is there any scenario in which Nico does not play college football this year if the figure dips below $2 million?
They just sit for a year?
We're talking about a time of unprecedented moves. He's the first college football hold-in. Is there anything to stop a program from paying him later? Like, what is the current transfer portal window? It opens today. How long does it last?
10 days.
10 days. So once he's in the portal, he has 10 days to find a new landing spot. After that, he can't be a part of another program.
Correct. 10 days from now, the window is shut.
All right. Is there any world in which he sits?
I'm not going to rule anything out with this group.
I'm just so fascinated to see what happens here, because if the offer dips below, I mean, the figure that he was making reportedly at Tennessee was somewhere in the ballpark of 2.4. He could play somewhere for $1 million. There's plenty of programs who can accommodate that financial request. He could even play somewhere for $2 million. But if he is trying to if he's trying to take this thing all the way, is there a world in which Nico Yimalava is willing to sit out if he doesn't get at least back to the sum that he was making at Tennessee? I don't know the answer to that question, because there's a million different things. Not figuratively and literally. There are a million different things involved with, all right, why is he trying to achieve that high benchmark beyond just, personal wealth? I'm sure that there is some level of familial involvement in his financial situation, as he is 20 years old, not yet able to buy a beer, but able to make $2.4 million to play college football. I would think it almost impossible that a player who has 1 year of eligibility before he can declare for the NFL draft would take that kind of risk, because then that would come up in draft meetings. For sure, if he chose to sit out. Like, why don't you love this thing enough to go play for a lesser amount of money?
Yeah.
And prefer to just sit out.
This feels like it's something that's going to come up anyway. But like we talked about with Coach Mack, if Nico does have just a phenomenal 2025 and the talent and the traits all supersede those things, it won't hurt his draft stock. But I do believe it's something that will come up. It's officially his legacy as a college football player until proven otherwise. He's the guy that wanted $4 million.
I think it's his legacy one way or the other.
Sure.
That he was the first one to kind of, he would have this much of an inflammatory situation around him.
Yes, it would have to be a pretty dramatic turnaround in 2025. So he's in the portal with the do not contact tag, which means he can reach out to schools. They cannot reach out to him. Typically, when a player does that, it means they pretty much have their landing spot lined up. But that doesn't seem to be the case, at least as reported with Nico. So it makes for an interesting situation.
615-737-1045 is the number. Bert, if Nico was on the Fortnite map, where would he be?
Ooh, that's tough. We had a submission in the FNM Bank chat that said he would be from Snobby Shores. I think he would be currently positioned at the Lonely Lodge, though.
Are you a Fortnite player?
I was at one point. I was a Fortnite player at one point, because it's crazy to believe this game has been popular for 10 years.
Been around a long time.
I remember being in college when this was a thing.
I don't know I don't know anything about Fortnite, but the Lonely Lodge, if that's a real thing, sounds like the correct answer.
It is, in fact, a real thing, or at least according to sources that are in the FNM Bank chat, which are, famously reliable. 615-737-1045 is the number. So let's talk about Nico's portal options and what's out there for him actually to make moves on. I'm Buck Rising. It's 104.5 The Zone. Well, welcome back to the show. We are fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. What's Nico Yimalava fueled by? What's his family, rather, fueled by? I'm going to stop referring to it as Nico and talk about his family because they're the ones most responsible for the mess that he's in. He's the face of it, though. The defection from the University of Tennessee. Now he enters the nebulous portal, which is officially open today. The spring transfer portal is available for the next 10 days, and we will see what becomes of the former Vols quarterback because it has sent shockwaves across the world of college football. And the contract discussions that were involved, the skip practice that ultimately saw Tennessee and Josh Heupel specifically put their foot down on the situation, followed by the very unceremonious exit of Nico to the portal from the program, has created a lot of different discussions, of course, around Tennessee, but largely around the state of collegiate athletics anyway. Now the question becomes, for all interested parties, and I think Tennessee fans are still interested in to see what will happen with Nico Yimalava, if for no other reason than to be petty and say, well, you could have made that much more money here instead of going to play for what programs did you mention earlier? Ferris State among them?
Yeah, being facetious, obviously, but
I don't know.
I mean, programs are just kind of falling off one by one, as is being reported, right? That UNC's out of the mix. That yesterday it was Tulane pretty much is out of the mix. The only program that has been involved in this thing, reportedly from the jump, that has not reportedly fallen out of it is UCLA. And ESPN has done some reporting on this. Pete Thamel and Max Olson teaming up, where there's an anonymous quote here from a general manager at a Power 4 school that says, quote, "I think he has zero market. It will be an interesting test of how smart and disciplined colleges are in looking for him." Another Power 4 general manager says he had absolutely zero interest in Nico adding to his quarterback room. Another said, "This is a terrible time. You're setting yourself up to fail. You are so late. You get no spring ball and all new wide receivers and a new system. The kids being paid a lot of money are already in the system, or they are 4 months into it."
Man.
You get the feeling that surely somebody will swoop in, right? And all the outrage and uproar, and then at the end of the day, you have a really talented quarterback with a high ceiling sitting there. His market is as low as it's ever been. So surely at some point there's some program that says, "Oh, it's just UCLA? All right, let's give this that would be an upgrade for us. Let's see what we can do here."
Forgive me, and if you read this and I didn't hear it initially, but did you read the part of the ESPN reporting from Pete Thamel about what he's now asking for now that he's in the portal?
I did not.
This is according to Pete Thamel and Max Olson at ESPN.com. Multiple sources have told ESPN that Yimalava's camp is seeking much more through the portal than the $4 million they hope to earn with the Vols this year. More than $4 million.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Get this kid away from these people. They are going to ruin his life. It is, again, we talked about this when the legislation passed 4-something years ago. Somebody is going to get very badly hurt by the goings-on around them because these kids, and he is a kid, he is 20 years old. Don't tell me he's an adult. None of you were at 20. These kids are the people who stand to be most hurt by the actions of the people around them, not to completely remove any level of culpability from them, but they are an economy unto themselves right now. And there are going to be all manner of people who are trying to take advantage of the economy around them. And what the family of Nico Yimalava have done is inexcusable. They are going to ruin his collegiate career. I don't know how actually innocent of a bystander Nico is, but the further we get into the details of the story, the less it is to me about him, the more it is to me about the people around him, because there are far more situations like that out there in the world of college football. And unfortunately, plenty of parents in this kind of an ecosystem that will take advantage, no matter if it is to the detriment of their own child. And it's easy for me to say as somebody who doesn't have kids and can pass judgment on people in these kind of situations, but they're making it pretty damn easy, wouldn't you say?
For sure. It's really hard.
Like this is like a stage mom type of thing. Like what was that awful reality television show that had like the little kids out
Pageant
there?
Girls?
Pageant Girls or something like that. I can't remember what the name of the show was
called.
But you know what I'm saying? Like that is the college football version of Pageant Girls.
And Nico is the pageant girl.
Ugh.
It's really hard because we don't know their family dynamics. And he is 20 years old. He is the face of this. There are professional sports around the world and in the U.S. where you're 20 years old and already a professional, right? Anthony Richardson was a first-round pick as a 20-year-old. He was a professional. So that line is so blurred right now in college football because of the lack of guardrails. Because would we be having the same discussion about Anthony Richardson? About, if it was some sort of botched negotiation, would we be saying, his people failed him or, somebody's got to look out for the kid? Or would there be any responsibility on Anthony Richardson where it's like, hey, you're in the NFL, man. You're with the big boys now. It's your name that's on the line. It's your career, your reputation.
You're talking about him
stand
as a
up
pro?
at some point. Yeah. Like if this situation was in the pros at the same age, right? Because this happens around the world, right?
Sure.
Other sports where guys or girls become professionals much earlier than in the football world. Like in international soccer, I mean, when you're 18, you can be a millionaire star, 19, 20, and they are still kids, but that excuse isn't tossed around as much because they're more used to kids being younger and getting that spotlight just shoved onto them at such an early age. And at some point, it's like, well, you just got to grow up faster. It just is what it is.
And plenty of people do. Like, I understand that people go to the Army or the armed forces at 18 years old and things like that. So when I say none of you were grown up at 20, yes, plenty of people have different life experiences. Plenty of people have had to grow up far faster than they should have. The vast majority of people are still fairly immature and not totally equipped to make these kind of decisions. I would again argue that even if you do have that life experience, that you're not totally equipped to make these kind of decisions when millions of dollars are at stake.
It's just people are so quick to say, no, he's a grown man. Stand up for yourself. You tell your dad this or that.
That's
like
garbage.
What if you get to a point, like if you're Nico and your family dynamic is what it is, you're like, are you sitting there weighing, do I want to stay at Tennessee or do I want to lose my relationship with my father? You know what I mean? Like, it could be that complicated. We have no idea.
Well, I think we do have a pretty good idea.
Sure, but we don't have like an inside look at what their dynamic is and just how
Ramon
much Nico
Foster,
is following rather than leading in this situation.
And Adam Sparks offered us some context to that effect, no? About the dynamics of Polynesian
it's a patriarchy,
families.
right?
Yes.
Like you do what you're told.
Sure, but the extremes of that are the things, to your point, that we do not have full access to. That alone, to where everybody has to be deferential to the head of the family, is a very outdated dynamic that this person is currently going into multi-million-dollar negotiations with. That's not good business.
For sure. I'm just saying, it's too complicated, and we don't know enough about the details of their family dynamic to sit here and say and act like it's easy for Nico to stand up to his father in this situation and say, no, Dad, I'm staying at Tennessee. I don't care what you say. And the potential repercussions that could have in his personal life and his family life from there. Like, it's just too complicated an issue. It feels gross, right? It feels gross to even be talking about the kid's relationship with his dad and all of this. But it feels unavoidable, too, because that's who's leading the negotiation.
And Dad put himself in the middle of it. Like, Dad put himself, he has consistently put himself in the middle of everything. So it leaves you no choice. And it's not to say that qualified representation cures all, right? But it can help prevent the amount of people, because Nico is just the first. Nico is the first and the most public to go through something like this. There will be hundreds of these if there are not the kind of guardrails that we have talked about that exist in professional sports. This is professional sports. They are not amateurs. They are paid pros. Until the system reflects that, there is going to be what's the term for casualties that you did not intend? You know what I'm talking about? I can't think
Collateral.
of it. Collateral. There's going to be collateral damage everywhere.
I get what you're saying. They're not amateurs. They're paid pros. But the reality is they are amateurs being paid like pros, right?
Yes.
Like, that's
but
the problem.
Business isn't going to distinguish that. The business is just going to churn through them, Lucas. It just did in this instance.
And it's not just Nico that's the amateur.
Yes.
It's his dad. It's the people that are negotiating $1 million deals that are the amateurs, that are handling situations that should be handled by pros, by certified agents. Again, they want a similar figure to what a Rookie of the Year finalist, Bo Nix, was making last year.
No, they want more.
They want more.
According to the reporting of Pete Thamel and Max Olson at ESPN, they are currently asking more than the $4 million.
For a quarterback who was fine last season. So what's happened is they have lost every ounce of leverage that they had. If they had gone into the winter portal and they were able to go to other schools and say, hey, Tennessee's paying us this. What can you do? We could go back to Tennessee, or you could give us more. They don't have anything to fall back on now. They don't have any figure to say, hey, we're getting this. How can you beat it? Because right now the baseline is 0, and UCLA can look at them across the table and say, there's nothing to beat right now. The only number we have to beat right now is 0, unless somebody else enters the bidding. And surely, he's too talented for somebody to not enter the bidding. But how wary are schools and programs going to be of the way they handled the situation? It's such an interesting case study in this.
Before we go to the phones, do you have anything that you need to read today? Is this how I'm going to have to do this?
Just let it happen, Buck.
615-737-1045 is the number if you would like to get involved throughout the course of the show. Let's start with Paul in Franklin, who, if it's who I think it is, it's going to be delightful. Hello, Paul.
Hey, it's me, Buck, brother. What's going on, man?
Oh, thank God. We need you, Paul. We sent out the bat signal. What you got for us today?
It's great to be alive and be in Tennessee, as a great Charlie Daniels said. Let me tell you something right now, brother. As far as Nico's dad, if I was Nico, this is absolutely a disaster for him. I mean, it's a disaster for him. And, you know, you were talking about his dad, Buck. Look, I wouldn't disown my dad over this. I wouldn't stop loving him over this. But if he cost me millions of dollars, and it looks like he's costing Nico millions of dollars, I'm going to be mad as hell at him for a while. You can believe?
Yeah.
I ain't just going, I'm going to be mad at him. You can believe that? I'm going to say, Daddy, stay out of my business. That's what I've been telling him after that. Now, I've also heard, and I'll hang up at this comment, brother, that there are no winners in this, that Nico lost, the University of Tennessee lost, there are no winners in that. No, but there is a winner in this, and I'm going to tell you who the winner is. The winner is Josh Heupel. He handled this situation, but it ain't an A. He got an A+. You can't handle it no better than Josh Heupel got. And you know what? Money is money. The old saying, money talks and BS walks. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Look, but there's still principles of integrity, trust, loyalty, and respect that is still out there, and it ain't all about money. And what my final comment is this, is that kids need to take this and learn that you can have integrity, you can have loyalty, and you can have respect, and still get the big bag, still get the big payday. That's my comment, brother. Hey, love your show. God bless you. Go Vols and tighten up.
There it is. Paul and Franklin.
I feel like he's like the Vols version of Macho Man Randy Savage. Like, he just has a way with words. Like, he could say something very normal and have me very passionate about it.
Or it's the Foghorn Leghorn delivery, too, that just delights me.
The cream rises to the top in Tennessee.
Bert asked me in my ear, when do you want the Oscars music? I said, Paul and Franklin does not.
Yeah, he's a fit. Paul, Sue-Ann, and who else?
Charlie and Franklin, typically.
Yes. Oh, I thought you knew his middle name. Paul, Sue-Ann. No. I was like, that boy
think he's a boy named Sue?
Not a boy named Sue. There are a few people that are impervious to the Oscars music. By the way, 104.5 The Zone has teamed up with Game Terminal for their 4th annual Beer Fest, Saturday, May 17th. Get ready for a day filled with beer, cider, and alcohol tastings, games, fun, and excitement. Buy your tickets now for $40 or $50 at the door. Beer tastings, gift bag, and swag will be included, and a portion of proceeds go to the Nashville Humane Association.
Oh.
Go to 1045thezone.com/events for more. Game Terminal's a cool spot. Pinball machines everywhere.
You guys have been to Game Terminal, haven't you?
I think everyone at the station has, aside from you.
Yes.
Why is that?
I don't know. You tell me. We had a station event there, and everyone was there.
Yes.
Don was there. Kirby was there. Blaine was there. We everybody was there except for you. We all had a great time playing Mario Kart, pinball.
You're welcome for not ruining your good time.
I would have just loved to beat you at anything. Centipede, roller. You never played Centipede? Oh, you get dusted in Centipede.
What are you talking? Yeah, but not in the way that I'm thinking.
Somebody else do something.
615-737-1045 is the number if you would like to get involved. I see people now throwing just schools into the chat on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch where you can live stream the show today. Nico should go to Colorado.
Nope.
Nico should go to an HBCU.
Colorado's out.
One, if you are suggesting that Nico should go to an HBCU, you are clearly not familiar with their financial situations at most of these universities that Deion Sanders and Eddie George and other people, Deshaun Jackson is now coaching at an HBCU to raise the profile and help them with fundraising because they are not in an economic situation more often than not to be able to offer top athletes these deals. I heard Darren Bates actually talk about this. I listened to the Raw Room podcast that him and the rest of the crew do over there. And Bates was talking about the idea of HBCUs and how there's never been better opportunities, at least in the modern day, for HBCU players to get a chance in the league, but that there's a reason that the top players go to Alabama and Tennessee and Georgia and Ohio State because it's your best shot to get to the league, and the HBCUs currently, in the current economic climate, do not offer you that. So that's, it's a noble thing that Eddie George and Deion Sanders and people like that have done beyond wanting to get into coaching and give back to help give these schools a chance to be able to recruit at a top level because there's no way that Jackson State gets Travis Hunter without Deion Sanders.
And speaking of Deion, we kind of mentioned his tweet, but we never read it on Nico, where that Richard G. West, that troll fake news breaking account, put out there that Nico had been in contact with Ohio State, Oregon, and Colorado. Again, very fake, fabricated tweet. And some Colorado account quoted it and said, "Yeah, right, bro could never come to see you and play them money games." And Deion quoted that and said, "Not true." And God bless we good about Nico.
Not true.
Not true that Colorado is one of the finalists. Again, a fake tweet.
Yes.
And he said, "God bless we good."
Talking about the quarterback situation. Yeah. Let's go to Corey out east.
What's going on, fellas?
Well, you know.
Hey, man, just want to talk about this Nico situation with his dad. For me, and this is just me personally, I feel like his dad took a parallel page from Ja Morant's dad. But what he should have did, this would have been a perfect opportunity for him to take a page from Deion Sanders as far as how it would be handled, and let the kid make his own choice, because now you're going to have your son frowned upon because programs are going to think, oh, his dad's running the show. His dad wants the money. And a lot of parents, and it's sad in the world that we live in that some parents look at this as their ticket out. And ultimately, the kid suffers from it, not just immediate, but long term.
Yeah, it's a great point, Corey. Thank you for the call. 60 seconds on the clock before the music starts. It's tragic. It is truly tragic. And hopefully Nico is able to overcome and make the best of his circumstance that his camp directly put him in.
Someone said Nico's dad is LeVar Ball without charm.
I mean, the LeVar Ball was doing appearances on CNN at the time. Blazing trails.
Hey, he went 3 for 3, too, man. He got all his kids in a league.
That's true. But he also developed those shoes that may or may not have contributed, according to some allegations, to Lonzo Ball's injuries.
I think they broke even. I just ordered a big...
Big Baller brand?
The Croc version.
Well, they're triple Bs, so I could say that it's Big Boss Burt shoes. So I bought a huge... So if anybody wants some triple B shoes, hit me up. I got a whole shipping container full of them.
Yeah, it'll only take you 17 months.
Could they custom make you some big baller Crocs? Or
Ooh, that would be nice.
maybe BBC, if you will.
I tried to get
Go ahead and try and rebound from that one. Go ahead.
I tried to get Cheyenne to get some. Have you guys seen the Croc heels?
No.
Oh, they look great. Nothing gets my motor humming like some Croc heels. You ever see a woman walk around in some Croc heels? Just know.
If I did, I assume she has a lip in.
Yeah. Speaking my language.
615-737-1045. You have observations?
I do.
Hopefully they're not about Crocs. That's next. If you're getting up there in age and you've noticed that you're starting to feel a little more tired on a regular basis, sluggish, and just generally not like yourself, you can assume that that's just a part of the aging process, but it doesn't have to be that way. If you're dealing with low energy and performance issues, those aren't inevitable. Solutions exist, and they exist at the Tennessee Men's Clinic. The difference at the Tennessee Men's Clinic is that there's no guesswork, no gimmicks, just real science and effective treatments. Because you're probably considering online fixes if you've dealt with performance issues or that low energy that we're talking about here. And if you've sought out generic online pills that are overpriced and ineffective, you've probably fallen into that trap. The Tennessee Men's Clinic is there to help you with personalized treatment plans, and their multiple urologists and providers tailor solutions specifically to your body and to your goals. Their comprehensive men's services include ED treatments and other options that many guys don't even know exist. So you can go to the TennesseeMen'sClinic.com and quit procrastinating today, because you don't want to waste time when it comes to your performance and to just generally your lifestyle. 615-208-9090. That's 615-208-9090, or visit them online at TennesseeMen'sClinic.com today.
The portal is portaling. As we said in the last segment, Nico Yimalava is officially in with a do not contact tag, which means he can reach out to schools. Schools cannot reach out to him. Interesting, given the market or lack thereof that is being reported around Nico Yimalava. We'll see where the former five-star ultimately lands and how that matches up with the demands of Nico and his camp and what ended up forcing him out of Tennessee. So where does Tennessee turn? Every name that we have brought up has just been purely skeptical. All right, what if they could coax this guy out? What if they could coax this guy out of quarterbacks that were just good, not in the SEC last year? Because we know that you cannot transfer within the conference in the spring portal and be eligible to play the following season. Adam Sparks, we talked with him about this yesterday. Quickly, before we get to the Sparks audio, I do want to read the end of this ESPN article where... Oh, and I just lost it. Why don't we listen to Adam Sparks as he talks about what Tennessee's options are in the portal?
Well, it depends on who you bring in. Those names, the Avery Johnson, Sam Levitt, all that, I think that's pie in the sky. I don't think that's happening. I think more of the caliber guys that Tennessee are looking at is the sort of the Merklinger level talent, but with starting experience. What you would think Jake Merklinger may be in a couple of years. A veteran who can start and win games, but a guy who's already started. It gets dicey, though, because here's the thing. You've got to make a decision with Merklinger. Because if you bring in, there's a certain caliber guy that you can bring in. Let's say they don't bring in Avery Johnson, Sam Levitt, that level. Again, I don't think they are. I don't think they can get that guy into the portal. If you can't get that guy, then whoever you bring in is going to be a second-tier guy who can probably win games for you, but also that's a guy who could chase off Jake Merklinger. And so you kind of have to do that calculus of if you get a guy that chases off Merklinger, can you live with that? And if so, then you may have to get two quarterbacks, and then George McIntyre may be your backup. So there's a lot of moving pieces. Tennessee's doing exit interviews. They did them yesterday, and they have to figure out which guy they bring in, how that'll affect their current roster. And, you're also doing a lot of math of how much does the guy you bring in cost, and does that give you more money to go put pieces around him? Or if you keep Jake Merklinger, do you have to give him a sizable raise to keep him? And if you're doing that, maybe you don't have enough money to go get other pieces. So there's a lot that goes into this.
And then there's this nugget on that ESPN report that we've referenced a couple times now from Pete Thamel and Max Olson in that Nico's market is at basically zero. Right at the end, just kind of buried in this report, it says, so far, Tennessee has appeared to have little luck in its search for talent. Sources told ESPN that at least one starting quarterback has received a raise thanks to an inquiry that his agent received from Tennessee. Expect the agents of nearly every established starter in the ACC, Big Ten, and Big 12 to get a call. That's from ESPN.
So a quarterback who was at least given consideration from Tennessee got a raise out of the situation.
That's what ESPN is reporting.
Do you guys ever watch Silicon Valley?
Yes. Great show.
What's the cyborg's name that goes to them for a job interview and then takes the job interview somewhere else, the offer somewhere else, and gets more money out of it?
Haven't seen it recently enough to remember that.
Jared Patakin or something like that. I can't remember the exact name. I started rewatching it for reasons that are it's the 10-year anniversary. That's why I started rewatching it. HBO was publicizing it. Anyway, what the hell are they going to do at quarterback? It's just. There were plenty of questions coming in, and you've pointed this out. I've pointed this out. Anybody who has any kind of base-level knowledge about what the Tennessee Vols could or could not expect to be in 2025 had some general questions about, all right, how much better can they actually get? Can they actually get better based on last year's performance with the specific kind of parts that are changing around here? The offensive line, the wide receiver core, we've talked at length. Is there a world in which they win 7 or less games?
Well, of course. I mean, there's a world where they could win 7 or less games, or they win 8 or more games.
How real is that world? How real is that world? 7 or less?
I don't think this roster is in such a bad place that it's a bottoming out. There are a lot of unproven faces, but a lot of talented faces. Like the most unproven of the players that we talk about on Tennessee's roster are some of the most talented. Mike Matthews, who needs to break out. That's a 5-star talent. I mean, the tight end room, even with Miles Kitselman and his injury, is loaded with talent. I mean, you have multiple 4-star prospects in there. Ethan Davis now has been in the system for multiple seasons. You stacked up your running back room. You retooled your offensive line, made moves there. Obviously, you've got 5-star David Sanders Jr. in there. It could be a year 1 starter. And the defense, to me, isn't going to have a huge drop-off. Maybe that depends on when Jermod McCoy comes back from that ACL injury. But I think the roster is good enough to where 7 to 8 wins can be the absolute floor. It's hard to imagine a bottoming out. I think the program is in a better place than that just because you lost your quarterback, you're just going to go into the gutter for one season. I think Heupel's done enough with this program to where the floor is 7 to 8 wins. Now, a 7-5 season would be a disappointing season. That's what you did in year 1 of Josh Heupel. And if that happens, that means you probably had some injuries along the way, that your quarterback play was not good. So we'll see. The possibilities are all over the place. But what did Sparks say with us yesterday? That he felt like Tennessee was a 9 to 10 win team with Nico and now maybe a 7 to 8 win team without? Can you find a quarterback, or can Merklinger be the quarterback that makes up that 2 to 3 game gap that maybe you feel like Nico would have won for you if he did indeed take another step in this program?
Any sense of whether Jake Merklinger is that kind of a player?
Oh, no idea. No, okay. I mean, all you can listen to is reports that he's coming along in spring ball, and he was a highly recruited guy. And no, we haven't seen him play football in a meaningful manner.
Easy to fear the unknown. And with everything going on around the program right now, it would,
Sure.
These are understandable questions to have. I just hate it I really do hate it for Vols fans. Like, I know I'm giving them a bunch of hell about, back off Nico. Your angst should be for the people around Nico, not Nico Yimalava. But that sucks.
Like, yeah, that's where we're at.
That just sucks.
Like Heupel said, it's the state of college football. Quickly, very brief headlines. I know we're up against it. Ole Miss gets Ferris State quarterback Trinidad Chambliss, all-name team in college football next year.
No way that's how that last name is.
It is. I did the research.
Are you sure?
We went and watched highlights until someone said his name. It's Chambliss.
Chambliss.
Okay. Lucas doing the research is the reason why I'm skeptical. This person who famously mispronounces all manner of different words coming in here with conviction and then pounding his chest saying, I did the research, after for his entire life saying the word chamber as chamber does not inspire confidence for you with another CH word.
My entire life as a spelling bee champ, of which you do not have any proof of. Again, Ole Miss gets Ferris State quarterback Trinidad Chambliss. Does he compete with Austin Simmons, or is he just brought in to be a backup to Austin Simmons? We don't know. And down at Alabama, there's a quarterback competition happening at one of the biggest programs in the country. And offensive coordinator Ryan Grubb said after the spring game that if Bama had a game tomorrow, Ty Simpson would be the starter. Seems to be the leader in the clubhouse.
Oh.
It's taken him a couple years. 5-star out of Martin, went to Westview High School right down the road here in West Tennessee. So seems like he might be the guy for Alabama.
Big start to this second half here on this first offensive series. It'll be Chambliss up the middle.
Bang! Chambliss, baby! Chambliss of Commerce.
615-737-1045 is the number if you would like to get involved. Do I now have things to give away?
We'll find out together.
Oh, for God's sakes.
We do not.
All right, fine. Then I'm giving away the Sounds tickets. That's on them. 615-737-1045 is the number. If you would like to win a pair of Nashville Sounds tickets, when's the game, Bert?
The game is next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday. If you want to go to a Sounds game next Wednesday, all you have to do is call us 615-737-1045 and give us the dumbest thing in sports this week. Lake lovers, listen up. Tennessee National, a highly anticipated lakefront resort golf and marina community, is having a spring sales event, releasing a limited number of lake lots to the public with upgrades and savings. One day only, Saturday, April 26th. You can get a cottage package with a boat slip from $379,900. You can get a subdividable wooded lot from $79,900. And for the first time ever, you can get a fully furnished lakefront townhome. Private golf cart access to a new marina and resort, 10 miles of walking trails, 3.5 miles of shoreline, a brand new 26,000 square foot clubhouse, waterfront concerts overlooking a beautiful lake, pickleball, pools, on-site coffee shop, and much more. Play on the lake or simply relax at the Waterfront Restaurant just over 20 minutes from Knoxville, Tennessee. Financing is available, so enjoy life on the water, fresh air, boat rides, and sunshine. Celebrate the lake life and make memories. This limited property release Saturday, April 26th. Visit TennesseeNational.com, or better yet, give us a call, 865-408-9992 to secure your private tour. Memories begin here.
It is 11:02. Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone studios. I'm Lucas Panzica. The spring transfer portal is officially open. Tennessee quarterback Nico Yimalava is officially in, but with a do not contact tag, according to multiple reports. In NFL news Tuesday, veteran left tackle Tyron Smith is calling it a career, signing a one-day contract to retire a Cowboy, where he spent 13 seasons before one season with the New York Jets last year. Smith's career ends with 5 All-Pros and 8 Pro Bowls. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
It most certainly is for the opportunity to win a pair of Sounds tickets to next Wednesday's game at First Horizon Park. 615-737-1045 is the number. Call in and tell us what the dumbest thing in sports this week is. Lucas, is there something associated with these Sounds tickets that you want to tell people?
Yes, it just so happens to be Winning Wednesday with 104.5 The Zone and the Nashville Sounds. Be the caller with the best submission for the dumbest thing in sports to see the Sounds host the Durham Bulls next Wednesday for 90s night at First Horizon Park. So the Sounds will have a throwback windbreaker giveaway for the first 1,000 fans that show up. So strap on the beepers to your best denim. It's 90s night, the Nashville Sounds.
All right, very good. The dumbest thing in sports this week is Wiley Ballard. Do you know who Wiley Ballard is?
No.
All right.
Is he related to the Coyote?
Not to my knowledge, and they would probably have to have the last name Coyote in common as opposed to the first name Wiley.
How about Chris Ballard?
That's just his genus, by the way. His last name isn't Coyote.
Yes, it is. It's Wiley, period, Coyote.
Agree to disagree.
Know your Looney Tunes. Wiley Ballard is a Braves reporter, and he was going around interviewing people at the Rogers Center during a game the other night. It was, taken as a celebration of Riz. Are you familiar with Riz? Since we're now getting into our 30s and we're old as a show.
I've heard the term.
Okay.
You know what it's short for?
It's short for charisma.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah. Been watching a lot of TikTok lately. So Wiley Ballard is going around and he's interviewing people, and he decides to chat up a pair of women who are taking in some baseball from the upper deck. And he opens the conversation with a standard line about, you guys hang out at the rooftop lounge often? Goes on, and his colleagues are urging him to take things further. He goes, he gets prompted, you've got 4 innings to get their numbers. So he's being dared on the air to get these women's number. He does get one woman's number, but I just think the entire situation, if the roles were reversed and they sent some woman out there, and I know, I'm going to get hit with the, oh, it's too woke. Oh, he's just doing some harmless flirting, this, that, and the other. But if you sent a woman out there to do something like that, imagine what the conversation would be today around that particular reporter. Imagine how awful
I think it would still be funny.
It would still be funny, but there would also be horrendous dialogue around it. So the entire situation, maybe just not on the broadcast.
Look, both can be true. I thought it was a very funny, light, entertaining moment on a baseball broadcast. And apparently that's kind of the dynamic that Wiley Ballard, I was listening to Will talk about this, who's a big Braves fan. They like to pick on him.
He's just like a horny teenager they're sending out in the stands to get people's numbers?
They just have fun with him going around as the reporter talking to fans. And Brandon Gaudin, the play-by-play for the Braves, who's an excellent play-by-play, by the way. He does the Madden games with Charles Davis. If you play Madden, you hear Brandon Gaudin with Charles Davis. And they poked and prodded out, get her number. And it was a very funny moment on the broadcast. I also think it would have been funny if the roles had been reversed and it was a female reporter. But I also acknowledge that the female reporter would have gotten so much on social media. She would have been dragged. Like, there was a female reporter just standing closely to Janai Broom in the locker room at the Final Four, and she got like raked over the coals on social media.
Oh yeah,
the Florida
she was
Gators
standing like almost sitting on his lap.
Bert, you don't understand how small these locker rooms are, and he is a giant human.
I get it, but there wasn't a picture like that with anybody else. All I'm saying is this would be funny either way, and the fact that we're complaining about it is stupid, in my opinion. It's funny. Can we not just have something be funny? This is something that, I don't know. I'm going to be in the minority here. I thought it was funny.
It was funny.
And it would be funny if the roles were reversed, and I wouldn't complain about it.
Yeah.
I would not complain about it if a woman did that.
Like, I don't just...
You would not, because you are discerning. There are so many people within the sound of our voice that would have an outrage worth of slut shaming
100%
coming down to this particular situation if the roles were reversed in this
100%.
situation. This is dumb funny.
Like, we can acknowledge both. This was a very funny... If I'm watching a Braves broadcast, I'd be laughing. I think this is funny. I'm being entertained by it, which is the entire point. And I would also be entertained if the roles were reversed. And I can acknowledge that if the roles were reversed, the female reporter asking for a dude's number
would have been awful.
Would be getting dragged. Like, that is a fact. That would happen. So we can acknowledge that, but also acknowledge that it was a funny moment, an entertaining moment on a broadcast. My dumbest thing in sports this week, the state of Utah and its sports teams. So the Preds, by the way,
didn't they just get waxed by Utah?
Yeah, 7-3. By the way, the Preds season comes to a merciful.
I know. I texted Lindsay Rowley the other day. I was like, "When's your last game?
Yeah.
You deserve all of the flowers. You and the entire FanDuel Network Sports crew for suffering through this.
They host
season.
the Stars tonight to finally wrap up the season, but they lost to Utah Hockey Club, who were formerly the Arizona Coyotes. They've moved to Utah. They're having a bit of an identity crisis, and it made me realize, because Nashville Soccer Club hosted Real Salt Lake on Saturday night, that the entire state of Utah and its sports organizations professionally have a massive identity crisis on their hands. So American soccer teams are no stranger to ripping off European names, right? Whether it's FC or, in the case of Salt Lake's team, Real Salt Lake, which is a name that's associated with Spanish teams. But when Salt Lake's MLS team became official, they said, oh, that sounds cool. That sounds European and soccer-y. So let's put Real in front of Salt Lake, even though we have absolutely no ties to anything Spanish whatsoever. So it made me realize over the weekend that Utah's hockey team, Utah Hockey Club, has the name of a soccer team. Utah's basketball team, the Jazz, think that they're still in New Orleans. And Utah's soccer team thinks it's in Spain. So Utah sports, my dumbest thing in sports this week.
That's reasonable. Bert?
My dumbest thing in sports, I'll say plainly, is anyone who wants me to hate John Gruden.
You ever have a cat come in your house and just all over the floor?
I've never had that happen.
Don't like it, man.
Hate it.
You got to let these cats know, hey, when we're in snug, watch a cat. Be very sensitive about the cats. Linemen got to get out on a bang. Backs got to scan out and pass protection. But I want you to be alert for these cats. Now, if we ever sense a double corner cat, you can smell these things out. You start hearing these defensive guys, woo, 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 woo. They make their signals. They can't help themselves. They're all fired up. Cougar. Like a cat, not a cougar that you're thinking of.
Yeah.
He goes on to say, not like Zach Wilson.
That is Seth Hennigan, by the way, the Memphis quarterback.
Seth Hennigan looks so overwhelmed by all things John Gruden in the middle of that.
I loved in the clip, though, he's like, man, you're smarter than I thought you might be. I might draft you higher than I thought I would. He's like,
it's the intensity in his eyes.
I so badly want to get Gruden on the radio show, but I have been informed that John Gruden is not doing radio interviews at this point in time.
Well, good thing we have a YouTube channel.
So we will effort that. We will effort the relationship. We have at least made contact with the Gruden camp. We will see if we cannot further take this relationship to new heights and find a way to get John Gruden on the radio show at some point. 615-737-1045 is the number. What is the dumbest thing in sports this week? Let's go with Bobby in Nashville.
Hey, I'm going to say the whole Nico Yimalava situation. They've cut his throat. He ain't no way he's going to get what he wants now. And I'll hang on and listen for the rest.
All right, very good. Bobby takes Nico Yimalava. He's off the board for all of you who would submit the Nico Yimalava.
Guy, is this going to be the green dot? Is this going to be the, I'm just already...
No, the green dot was so much less interesting than this. The green dot was just dumb.
It is slowly.
We spent months talking about a linebacker that didn't even play, and when he got out there was an atrocity on special teams in Cedric Gray wearing the green dot.
Slowly encroaching on that territory.
Somebody, no. This, Robert, you're not interested by this story?
I'm not interested from the newest portions. No, it seems like we're just saying, like, whose fault is it? Is it Nico's fault? Is it his dad's fault? I feel like we've been doing that for like a week now.
It's Wednesday.
You asked. That's where I'm at. I don't care what it is.
The two of you had me open the show with Cam Ward on Fortnite. All right.
That was good. That was funny.
That was the worst. 615-737-1045 is the number. Will is up next. Let's see if Will has a better submission.
Hey, guys, I got Bryson DeChambeau in his postmaster's interview pouting about how Rory McIlroy didn't shoot the breeze with him in the final round. The guy's trying to do something, 5 other guys have ever done in the history of his sport, and Bryson's pouting about him not, chopping it up. And that's why Rory's wearing the green jacket and Bryson's talking about wearing the green jacket. I'll hang up and listen.
Well, don't hang up, because that is going to give you the submission that wins the Sounds ticket. So congratulations to Will. He will be in attendance for if he wants to, he can be in attendance for next Wednesday's Sounds game. And you can call us 615-737-1045 every Wednesday at 11 o'clock and give us your dumbest thing in sports this week. All right. Bryson DeChambeau has some personality stuff that can rub people the wrong way, and beyond even just his political stuff, because he's gotten involved there, as several sports figures do on both sides of the aisle. It's not like something that they can't do if they don't want to. But Bryson's got some personality stuff every once in a while. Just makes you like, I wish you would be a little more. I wish you'd talk less. I like you so much more when you talk less.
The weight on Rory's shoulders on Sunday, I don't blame him for not wanting to shoot the breeze with Bryson.
Got stuff going on, Bryson.
Kind of the biggest moment of my life/career.
Did you see him collapse in a pile of himself during that playoff hole? Please. Anyway, all right, Will's getting the tickets. Coming up next, we are going to talk about Belichick's emails. Is it a Hillary Clinton situation? I don't know. We'll find out. Is this Conway Twitty?
Yes, sir.
What a delight. Do you know whose birthday it is?
Whose birthday is it?
It's Bill Belichick's birthday. A happy 73rd birthday to Nashville native Bill Belichick. No, of course we care. Otherwise, we wouldn't have gone to all that trouble.
He's not
Officially,
going to need the good luck.
only 49 years older than his girlfriend, Jordan Hudson. It's a good thing it's not 50, otherwise that'd be weird.
Wish I could hit you with something. That was good.
It's a pretty good joke. It's the first good joke he's made in 4 years.
Got to start somewhere.
Yeah, I guess. So it is Bill Belichick's 73rd birthday, and yes, he is dating a 24-year-old. But that's not the story of the day, or I guess it has something to do with the story of the day, because The Athletic obtained how many emails exactly through a Freedom of Information Act?
44 pages of emails that kind of provide a glimpse into the role of Bill Belichick's girlfriend, Jordan Hudson, in the UNC football program, as videos come out of her at their spring game over the weekend, traipsing around the field, seemingly having free reign of the field and facility, despite the fact that she is not technically a university employee.
Yes. So he wanted a Tar Heels administrator to start copying his girlfriend on certain emails. The 44 pages provide a glimpse at how Jordan Hudson, who is the girlfriend, has a level of control and is helping Bill Belichick to direct this college football program. Literally, when it comes to the media side of things, she is helping to direct things being shot and being documented about Bill Belichick. You know, it is a pretty crazy thing. Bill Belichick being a college football coach, one, being the college football coach at North Carolina, two, and that there's going to be film crews there to capture it all in all of its glory. And Jordan Hudson, his 24-year-old girlfriend, is there to make sure that hubby, or I guess not hubby, but boyfriend, looks good on the camera.
I mean, sure, and I get it from that perspective. She definitely has a more advanced scope on what does and doesn't work in the social media landscape than Bill would, or maybe some of the employees within the university and athletic department would. But you look through some of these emails, it makes it seem like she's basically the PR director of UNC football. I mean, one of these, quote, on December 22nd from Jordan Hudson, though Steve Belichick is in fact Bill's son, he should be depicted and represented as his own established, credible entity, as opposed to an extension of Bill. It can be easily misinterpreted that Steve is simply benefiting from nepotism, but that is not the case. Steve was fortunate to have learned defensive football strategy from the greatest defensive mind of all time. He has earned his position due to his performance and output. That is straight from an email from Jordan Hudson.
The report goes on to say that the school shouldn't use images of Steve and Bill Belichick together to prevent, quote, visual prompts that could fuel accusations of nepotism. I wish NFL teams cared as much about, at least trying to stave off the optics of nepotism as Jordan Hudson clearly does, because, as I recall, the Titans got Dean Pease because Matt Pease came to work with Dean. And that was just kind of like, all right, I guess that's what we're going to do here. And that's all over the place, right? Isn't there a Lombardi still running around in the world of the NFL as a defensive coordinator recently? It's like the grandson or something like that. I can't remember exactly. Maybe it's a Madden. Either way.
Joe Lombardi, who is the offensive coordinator of the Broncos, was for the Chargers. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's, nepotism is a thing everywhere. Jordan Hudson trying to prevent any optical accusations of nepotism. So,
well, I mean, at this point, someone like Joe Lombardi is earning jobs. Like he's been the offensive coordinator for multiple NFL jobs. I don't think Sean Payton hired his OC because he's Vince Lombardi's grandson.
Nepo baby.
Well, it's like Art Smith. Like Art Smith's dad. Do you know who Art Smith's dad is?
Of course, Fred Smith.
Fred Smith. Well, many people didn't.
I think most people in Nashville know that by now.
By now, one would assume. But yes, Fred Smith, the founder of FedEx. So Art Smith never had to work a day in his life, and yet he chose to go the grubby route of quality control coach, assistant tight end coach, offensive coordinator, the whole thing, to become an NFL head coach. Now he's back in the league as an offensive coordinator. But still, fair to expect that Arthur Smith was not interested in benefiting from his family's great finances and great fame in that way. But it's okay if you look around and be like, yeah, the FedEx guy, that might have helped open some doors for him. The Lombardi last name probably helped open some doors for him that may not have been open to him had his last name been Panzika. Fair to expect?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
So with this, though, to get caught up in the Bill Belichick thing, Bill Belichick going through all the different things that he is in this well-documented and well-reported piece by The Athletic, and you can check it out at theathletic.com, on the Freedom of Information Act that allowed a deeper look into the North Carolina program. Lucas brought this up during our pre-show talk. This is about as anti-Belichick as Belichick has ever been in terms of the access that he's allowing.
Yeah.
The looseness that he seems to just kind of be going through this job with. He's not, ignoring children and their high fives as he walks out of the tunnel in Detroit anymore. It seems he's bringing his 24-year-old girlfriend to not run the show, but help run the show.
Yeah, I mean, she's got free reign, it seems, virtually and physically, just all over that facility and the field.
Oh, I thought you were going somewhere else with that.
No.
So, all of the Belichick intrigue, what does North Carolina have to be for this to be a success? Because I genuinely don't know what to expect. I know who Bill Belichick is. I know Bill Belichick is the greatest NFL coach of all time. I know that Bill Belichick also made the playoffs once without Tom Brady in Mac Jones' rookie year, and the rest of it was an abject disaster. Bill Belichick going to North Carolina is a completely different situation, though it's probably more familiar to him than any other iteration of college football would have been at the time that he's going to college football. So what is a fair expectation for Bill Belichick at UNC this year? Because I don't know. ACC's not the best football conference right now. Clemson has always got a seat at the table in some form or fashion. We'll see what Mario Cristobal does this year at Miami. But he's the greatest coach in the history of the NFL. Are people going to expect him to win the ACC in year one?
No. That certainly couldn't be the expectation. It depends on if you are judging Belichick's tenure at UNC based on what most coaches and programs are judged on, wins and losses, or what they are saying their goal is, which is to be the 33rd team in the NFL, to be a pipeline.
That's the line that they're using? That's crazy.
To be the 33rd NFL team, to be a pipeline from college football to the NFL, and to have a structure that most parallels an NFL organization as much as you possibly can at the college football level. I mean, speaking of Lombardis, Michael Lombardi, who is Belichick's general manager, no relation to my knowledge of to Vince and that Lombardi family.
It probably is.
There is more here in these emails where GM Michael Lombardi was asked about compiling a reel of great things that Tom Brady and Gronk and others have said about Belichick that they could show recruits. And they also are discussing interview requests from 60 Minutes, Good Morning America. There's an email in here from Bill that says, sorry, I will not be available to talk with Sir Charles, talking about a request to join Charles Barkley's podcast. Here's another one from Jordan Hudson. Quote, is there anyone monitoring the UNC football page for slanderous commentary and subsequently deleting it / blocking users that are harassing BB in the comments?
Oh, my God. Is she a helicopter mom?
On Valentine's Day, there's a follow-up email from Belichick that says, quote, I cannot believe that UNC would support my being called a predator. Neither side provided more details on the context of that email. So there is some fascinating stuff in here. But doesn't it feel like Belichick is on his Brady and Tampa arc?
Oh, where Bill Belichick becomes likable?
Suddenly he's this bubbly personality and he's got this girlfriend that's helping him be more front-facing on social media, and everything is fun, and UNC is loose, and anybody can come hang out at the facility. This feels like Belichick is on his Brady and Tampa era.
Let's do it this way. There are several famous ones that come to mind here in just the last, we'll call it 10 years, all right? Who has had the better good guy to bad guy to good guy again career arc? LeBron James, Tom Brady, or Bill Belichick? LeBron, wonder kid, out of the Ohio area, drafted by the Cleveland Cavaliers, trying desperately to win a title there, doesn't get them close enough. Then he goes into the villain phase. It's, I'm taking my talents to Miami. Everybody hates the Heat. The Heat are one of the most hated teams in the modern era of NBA basketball because nobody wants to see them succeed and nobody likes the way that LeBron did it or this, that, and the other, whatever. Then he goes back to Cleveland and he wins a title. And it's LeBron, the savior. Once again, he finally came home. There's billboards everywhere all over Cleveland.
This is for you.
Correct. All of those different things, right? That's the LeBron hero to villain to hero again. Brady, plucky underdog, gets an opportunity after Bledsoe gets hurt. 6th round draft pick, 199. Comes in there, he's the passenger princess for the first 3 Super Bowls. He is the lead dog for the next 3 Super Bowls. And everybody hates him because all he does is win. And there may have been some cheating in there, sprinkled in throughout the course of the 20 years that they were dominating the NFL. But nobody likes the Patriots. Nobody likes Tom Brady. So he's no longer the plucky underdog, the 6th round pick who made it when nobody else did. And that's fine. Then he goes to Tampa and he's drunk off avocado tequila. And he's throwing Lombardi trophies across boats to Gronk in the Tampa Super Bowl boat parade, which is still one of the coolest parades I've ever seen in my life. And everybody likes Tom Brady until the roast. And, actually, it felt like the roast made him more likable because it was basically just people taking pot shots at him for Giselle leaving him for a jiu-jitsu trainer who I believe she is now with child because of. Awkward. Then there's Bill. Bill is thought of as one of the most menacing people in all of professional football for basically his entire career. And when Brady leaves and he goes to Tampa and he leaves Bill Belichick in New England, it is almost consensus that people in sports who have wanted to have this debate, Brady or Belichick, who's more responsible, they're Team Tom. Team Tom terrific because Tom went somewhere else and won, and Belichick, by his standards, cratered. They made the playoffs once, and I think it was 3 years that Belichick was still there after Brady left. Now he goes to UNC after he gets frozen out in the NFL hiring cycle, and Belichick becomes a likable figure in all of this, and he's doing beach yoga with his 24-year-old girlfriend, and he's slinking around. Did we ever figure out whose condo he was slinking out of when he got caught on that Ring camera that got hacked? Was that Jordan Hudson's? Did we determine?
I don't know, but that was messed up.
He never returned my call.
Either way, hero to villain to hero again. Who's had the better arc?
I would have to argue that LeBron has gone hero to villain to hero, returning to Cleveland and then leaving Cleveland and becoming hero again. Anyone that can make the city of Cleveland band together to sing a "We Are LeBron" song like this is a hero.
Please say LeBron, we really need you. No bigger market's gonna love you half as much as we do.
They gathered the sportscasters, the news people, anyone who is a public figure in Cleveland to come together and sing, "We are LeBron. We really need you." Like anything that can make these old geezers get out of their studio, get out from in front of their green screen and do something like that is the greatest hero, villain, hero, villain, hero of all time.
But he might have gone back to villain, though, going to play for the Lakers.
Yeah, and you're not likable when you go to Los Angeles.
Have you not heard the TikTok songs that have been adapted about LeBron lately?
Absolutely not.
Do you have one handy?
I will find one while you are arguing against my case.
And then Brady maybe has gone back to villain because nobody likes Brady on TV. And he forced out Greg Olsen, who is actually good at the job, but not as big a name as Tom Brady. So has Brady gone from hero to villain to hero back to villain?
He's not villainous. He's just bad.
Yeah.
But that's not like people don't hate Tom Brady because he's bad. People hate Tom Brady because he's good. I think people are very much enjoying the fact that Brady's not great at television. Not yet. Watch him be,
I disagree. I think a lot of people do not like the fact that he's not very good at it and that he replaced somebody that was excellent at it right from the jump.
Okay, this is a LeBron parody called "The LeBron That I Used to Know." How can you hate this?
AI has to be stopped.
How can you hate that? And this is not the only one. There are hundreds of these LeBron edit songs.
Hundreds, I'm sure, is doing it as a service. I bet there are tens of thousands of those.
And says Tiger Woods, hero to villain to hero.
But me personally, I know America was because Tiger's incident happened at the same time kind of that Twitter was like on the come up. So it was like a social media scandal on that scale that we had not yet seen. But I don't know. I never really thought that much less of Tiger. Because he's got some human elements to him. That's the most relatable Tiger Woods has ever been in my life.
I wonder how, to bring it back to Bill, if you were to poll the entire UNC athletics staff, just kind of what the feeling is right now in the whole situation.
Like an honest moment?
Yeah, because reportedly, obviously, there was a ton of infighting with the powers that be at UNC on whether or not this was the right way to go, because you have to overhaul how you do everything as a football program and do it how Bill Belichick wants it done. And now the girlfriend is in the situation where the university pays people full-time salaries to do PR and digital and social, and she's like bossing these people around on email.
Hey, you know what? I'm with that though, because if you think it's being done incorrectly, and God knows we've experienced some level of that in our lifetimes, I am so good with somebody taking the reins and be like, get out of my way, I can do this better
I understand that, but it can just kind of create this sort of tension in the building. I'm just fascinated at how this goes culturally. Something we may never know from the people that work at various levels of the athletic department and football program that aren't tied to coaching or playing. Truly, I'd be fascinated to know just what the consensus is on the Bill Belichick situation right now in UNC, and the question of how to gauge expectations for him, especially in year one, is a fascinating one. They're completely resetting the roster. They're reportedly bringing in this South Alabama quarterback to be their guy. In local news, two guys from Nashville, Cade and Cruz Law, two brothers that played for CPA, that won state championships at CPA, linebackers at UNC, are hitting the portal to find another spot. Got to cover both of those guys in high school. Really good players, come from good families, and they're headed out. There's a big exodus of North Carolina players headed out. It's weird. It's like a different version of the Dion situation at UNC. So I can't wait to see how it plays out.
You know what I'm most curious about? What the hell do Bill and Jordan Hudson talk about?
Yeah.
What could they possibly talk about?
She's just teaching.
I'm 31 and I feel like I have nothing in common with 24-year-olds.
I like to think it's a different version of what we've done here in this segment of Robert just showing us like AI stuff on TikTok.
And us being like,
he's like, you see, this is why you can tell it's cover 3, because there's obviously a different boundary. She's like, that's so exciting, Bill. That's so good.
So you think she's just lying to him, just like feigning interest in the thing that he's in because he's Bill Belichick?
I don't want to poo-poo on their love. I don't know what they have. Some people look at me and Shine and say, what does she see in him? Some people, you know, some people don't see the beauty within. And sometimes you just got to let those people love on their own.
Cheyenne sees it. That's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
I think
the full thing.
We may need
full frontal.
Okay.
And full backle.
All right. Vedal in the F&M Bank chat says,
what's she doing back there?
No, she's just seeing the whole thing. You know, I walk around naked.
But got to have those Crocs on.
We need to get her some glasses.
He says she's teaching Bill how to screenshot. See, so you hit no, Bill, at the same time. You have to.
It keeps locking the screen.
The same time, Bill. I wonder what her pet name for him is.
Oh, yeah, she calls him Billy. 100% calls him Billy. My little Billy boy.
No.
Also, another question.
What's his for her?
I don't want to know. I imagine she's good at social media strategy. She's also 24 years old. So I also have questions about how qualified she is to seemingly externally head up the PR department for a Division I football team.
You know what? Based on what I know about PR departments and football teams, like a 24-year-old could come in there and run it correctly and run it in a way that a bunch of corporate suits and executives have no idea what they're doing. They're just following along with their kids' algorithm.
You also got to run it in a way that makes certain people happy.
And you know,
upstairs,
Bill has always said that she's very mature for her age.
I'm sure he does think that.
Go to break. Welcome back to the show. Fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. We had a delightful team lunch at Hattie B's yesterday.
Oh, yeah. I'm still thinking about it.
I mean, we can go again today before we go to the zoo. It's up to you guys.
Flocked around and didn't find out because we already knew that Hattie B's is the best hot chicken. But we did find out about something new, Robert.
Something new on the menu, as a matter of fact.
Oh, those chicken crisp. It is fried chicken skin, but it is in a bag like a bag of potato chips. They were exceptional.
You guys told me that's what pork rinds are like because, for obvious reasons, I've never had a pork rind in my life.
No, not for, you can't say for obvious reasons I've never had a pork, that's not a.
No, it is.
Everybody's had a pork rind. Like, you're just lying about that. But yeah,
it's. Pork rind?
So
you think, honestly, the person who eats French fries with a knife and fork has had a pork rind?
Like, that's not some obscure thing. Like, pork rinds.
I know.
Very
I
common
understand
snack.
it's not obscure. It's just disgusting.
No, not disgusting. They're actually kind of good for you. They're not
so
bad
good.
for you.
Yeah, high in protein. I mean, the chicken crisps at Hattie B's.
They were delightful.
13 grams of protein
13
in
grams
those
of protein,
things.
low
They're
calorie.
called Flock Chicken Skin Crisps. And I need a box of them
they're so
delivered
good.
to the station. And I will eat one into the microphone every break.
It's like pork rinds, but with chicken rinds.
I mean, the old South Park
It's just
episode.
the word rinds. Like, I don't like that. Like, that does
You
not
never had
sound like
pickled watermelon rinds?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, they're good. I'm telling you, you can't let words scare you away from something. You can't let words scare you away from a good time. Ooh, that sounds icky. Ooh, that sounds gross. Too bad. Be a man. Enjoy it.
Enjoy it. That's like somebody I tweeted the other day, knowing that I was going to provoke the knuckle draggers. That how did humankind operate before heated steering wheels, knowing full well what was waiting for me on the other side of that. And it made me laugh to see some of the responses. Also, you are going to have to take my man card anyway when we go to the zoo, because when you put one of these hissing African cockroaches near me or whatever they're called, I'm going to scream.
You're not going to scream.
I'm gonna
scream.
Could
hiss. You could be.
No,
if you would like to
it's
talk
going to
them.
hiss, and then I'm going to scream. It's not going to be a method of communicating with the cockroach.
Yeah,
I'm
speak
just
its
going
language
to
I
a little
was
bit.
told that we are allowed to hold them, and then if we would like,
Hold by whom? I'm the only one communicating with the zoo, as far as I know.
See, this
take
is
a small bite.
This is the problem with our society today. See, you want to scream, and you don't want to start a dialogue with the cockroach. Hiss. Speak its language.
What are you
Start a
hissing
dialogue.
about? Hiss, hiss, hiss. Who should the Titans take at number 1 overall? Hiss, hiss. Oh, he's a Luther Burden guy. Maybe not that high, but he's a cockroach, so he literally lives under a rock. You have to give these people grace.
We'll find out when we go to the zoo later today. And Bert goes around interviewing the animals. We have a long list of animals that Bert is going to interview. Who the Titans should take with the number 1 overall draft pick. You hear that, Wyatt? We're coming for you. He's out here texting all the Titans. Everybody who's ever been to a Titans practice, Wyatt texts every year, says, who the Titans are going to take in the first round. This year, he's going to have like 7,000 Cam Wards.
I know. I wish Jimmy should just send the mass text and say, only reply if your pick is not Cam Ward. If you don't reply, I'm writing down Cam Ward.
No, it's a labor of love for Jimmy, but we're coming for him this year because we're going to the zoo. You can keep your dusty old Titans media types or people that showed up to steal a Gatorade out of a cooler one time at training camp. We're going to the zoo, Jimmy.
I'm worried the zoo thinks that we're like a legit operation coming in there. Like, we booked this with them and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Then they just see the three of us
it's
walking
gonna be
in
the three
with an
of us
iPhone.
and Justin with a camera. And that is about the extent of our professionalism. It's like that time that the Nashville Pontoon Saloon held up an entire trip for us to show up, and it was just the three of us.
Oh, yeah. That makes me cringe. That was your fault.
Well, we went to the wrong marina. I think they needed to be more clear on their website about where the actual marina was. I don't think that's entirely on me. Anyway, there's not been a trade in the first round right now. It's the latest we've gone without there being a pre-done trade in the first round of the NFL draft in quite some time. Every team currently has their original first-round pick. It's a rare enough thing that happens. And while we don't have any expectation whatsoever that though the door may still be slightly ajar for the Titans to trade out the number 1 overall pick, we have no expectations that they will do so. Neither does Cam Ward, because he's doing Fortnite streams talking about how Treylon Burks is a top 4 wide receiver and Brian Callahan is the number 1 coach in the NFL. Okay. Elsewhere in the draft, it is reasonable to believe that we could get to draft night and see some action. But this is a very curious draft for a number of different reasons, because I don't know that anybody can tell you definitively what's going to happen after the first 2 picks in the first round.
Oh, did you have a question for me? You just kind of stopped talking?
It's a sports talk radio show.
It was just a very odd time for you to just stop in the middle of your sentence.
You have nothing to offer on this topic.
No, please, flesh out what you were saying.
I just did, and now it's your turn to speak, because that's how this show works.
I was trying to figure out, I believe it's the John Elway draft is the last time we went this long without there being a trade in the first round. And that was 5 days before. So we're now
that
8
would have been
days
more
out.
productive than staring at me waiting for something else to happen, as opposed to just, do you want me to say something?
Yes. I had tuned you out.
Oh, my God.
So 8 days out, where do we think it's most likely to happen, the first trade? Top 5? Let's just say top 5, top 10, or top 20?
I'm going to say between 10 and 20, which is how the poll should have been phrased.
And will it be for a quarterback?
It should be for a quarterback. Whether it's Dart, whether it's Shador, I couldn't answer. But I think if Shador Sanders is there and the Pittsburgh Steelers are picking, let's say if Shador Sanders, who's currently picking 15th?
The Falcons.
Falcons don't need a quarterback. Falcons need a great many things, but the Falcons could stand to add pass rushers, which they desperately need in this year's draft, as late as the second, if they wanted to. And they could trade back with the Pittsburgh Steelers at 21, who may come up for a quarterback if the right quarterback falls to them, because Aaron Rodgers, to my knowledge, is still not a Pittsburgh Steeler on April the 16th. And we were told pretty reliably, right, that the expectation was that Rodgers would sign before the draft. What are you going to sign on April 23rd and the draft the 24th? So I bet you see some movement. New Orleans is 9. Los Angeles is 26. I can't envision them trading up for a quarterback, but if one were to fall to them, I think they might be interested, or fall anywhere near them. I think they might be reasonably interested with a 37-year-old Matt Stafford on their roster. It's just the same parties that we've been talking about. Who's the wild card here? Who's trading up for not a quarterback?
The wild card just generally in the first round or in the top 10?
Which team do we think would move around in the draft for a player that is not a quarterback? Because we most associated the trades with the quarterbacks. Cleveland is probably going to take Travis Hunter at 2, which would mean Abdul Carter 3 in all likelihood, unless the Giants are just, I don't know, reaching. How many players that don't play the quarterback position are worth moving around in the first round? Worth moving around in the first round of this year's NFL draft for? I don't know the answer to that question.
It depends on, to me, I think the run on the wide receivers and when or if that happens is what makes this interesting. Like which team that feels like it could, the Titans at 35. I'm not saying the Titans would be a candidate to do this. I doubt they're looking to trade up. But if there's a team sitting there at the top of the second round that feels good about Luther Burden falling to them, and then suddenly receivers start flying off the board at pick 21. There's already been 2 or 3 receivers drafted. You might feel like, oh, man, we better sneak in there at that 24, 25 range if we really love this guy to play receiver for us in 2025. But otherwise, it all feels on the table. I mean, the Saints sitting there at 9. What do the Saints do at 9? The Derek Carr thing.
Take a quarterback.
Dane Brugler's mock draft, for what it's worth, has them taking Ted McMillan.
Who they also need. They need wide receiver help. They need defensive help. Their defense is getting old and slow. Their offense is currently married to a 34-year-old quarterback who's got a shoulder injury coming off a hand fracture. And, I mean, the best player on the roster is Alvin Kamara, and he's 31?
He's
30?
Definitely over 30 at this point.
And they just gave him an extension, which is crazy.
Yeah, you feel good about the top 5 staying put, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, unless Vrabel does something crazy and tries to go get Abdul Carter, like I can't imagine that there was...
He'd probably only have to move up 1 spot to 3.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm assuming that the draft starts at 3. Cam Ward 1, Travis Hunter 2, then the Giants really start the draft at 3. So I would think that would be the only one that I would foresee in the top 5 because... I mean, it doesn't mean that Jacksonville's a lock to take Mason Graham. The Titans were a lock to take Joe Alt until the Chargers took him, and then they took J.C. Latham, and everybody's mock drafts were sent asunder. But there's not really a ton of... It doesn't seem like there's a huge appetite for any team to trade up right now. Once we get into the draft and the runs on various positions start, then you'll probably see a little bit more movement that way. All right. Cam Ward gave confirmation that he expects to be the number 1 overall pick. How did he do it? We'll tell you next.
Hello, friends. If you're new to Nashville or you've been here a long time, odds are you've got a clean out project that the missus said she would like to see done by the spring. Maybe now you're pushing that to the summer. Well, the most reliable folks I know that can help you are my friends at J&J Services. For over 20 years, J&J Services have been providing dumpsters for local businesses, construction sites, home cleanouts, and demolitions. They provide commercial dumpster service for your favorite restaurants and convenience stores. They even provide roll-off dumpster service for everybody, from 60-story high-rises to your neighbor's farm. J&J Services offers trash compactors, making those large loads a little bit smaller. And they can even supply you with porta potties if you're hosting a special event. For the safest, most reliable service you can get in Middle Tennessee, call them today for a free quote at 615-599-7778. JNJServices.com, where they always keep it trashy. It is 12:01. Good afternoon from the 104.5 The Zone studios. I'm Lucas Panzica. The spring transfer portal officially is open, and Tennessee quarterback Nico Yimalava is officially in the portal with a do not contact tag, according to multiple reports. In NFL News Tuesday, veteran left tackle Tyron Smith is calling it a career after 14 seasons, 5 All-Pros, and 8 Pro Bowls. Draft preparation continues. We are 8 days out from the first round in Green Bay. The Titans today are hosting Arizona State running back Cam Scadaboo, according to a report by Paul Kaharski. The Nashville Predators season comes to an end tonight at home against the Dallas Stars. Puck drop at 7 p.m. at Bridgestone. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
You know, draft season has officially slowed to a crawl. When the most interesting thing happening in the NFL world is Cam Ward's game of Fortnite last night and Rich Eisen interviewing the director from The Departed for some reason, several years after the fact. There's nothing going on in the NFL.
Wait.
Right now.
What'd you say about The Departed?
Rich Eisen is interviewing the director from not The Departed, The Town.
I was going to say, Martin Scorsese, you better put some respect on that name.
No, I apologize. The Town. Do you know who the director of The Town was?
I don't, actually.
His name is Titus Welliver, and he's on the Rich Eisen show today because there's nothing to talk about in football.
Great movie.
Which is why you have brought me Cam Ward audio on a Fortnite stream that I don't care about. But
okay, quit poo-pooing this like it's nothing. All right?
It is literally nothing.
I don't care that it's on a Fortnite stream. This is the number 1 overall pick, basically confirming to everybody that he's going to be playing for the Tennessee Titans in so many words.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Did you not know that?
No, but it's coming from him. So, I don't...
Oh, my God.
I don't care.
My God. We got to stop everything. We got to put out a TMZ article about it.
This is where clout chasing Buck...
slow it to a crawl and say, oh, look at it. He said Tony Pollard's one of his top 4 running backs. Oh,
top 4 running backs in the league right now? I would say... Tony Pollard, Spears.
Okay. Didn't say Julius Chestnut, not a good team. This is so stupid that you guys want to spend 2 segments today talking about what Cam Ward said on Fortnite.
Where you draw lines is always so funny to me.
What is it? Okay, advance the story, please. Tell me what I'm to do with Cam Ward streaming on Fortnite and the fact that he said Traylon Burks, look at him.
He's already fitting in swimmingly with a dig at A.J. Brown.
A.J. Brown's a dog, but he's not Calvin Ridley.
Oh, for God's
Can't
sake.
deny that.
I'm sorry, man, but the next quarterback of the team, who the Titans seems like will pick at number 1 overall.
Has a good sense of humor.
He's talking about Titans players being the best in the league, Brian Callahan being the best coach in the league. It's just funny. So when we put out something that says Cam Ward leaves no doubt about being the Titans' number 1 pick, people want to hear what he had to say. And I'm surprised that you have drawn a line there. Of all places, clout-chasing Buck has decided that Fortnite is where the line is drawn.
Yeah, because it's dumb. And we've known this for a month. We've known this for 2 months that he's going to be the number 1 overall draft pick.
Yeah,
the fact that he said Titans players' names into a microphone whilst streaming a video game is the lamest stuff that we could possibly work into the radio show. I'd rather talk about will Nico or won't Nico for 10,000 more hours before Cam Ward's Fortnite stream.
But you don't know who his favorite wide receiver 2 on the Titans is.
Okay, so y'all already said Ridley, Jamar, Justin.
I think Jason Jamar is like the top.
And then for my last one, Traylon Burks.
I think it was Quandre Diggs.
Was it?
His cousin.
Daggone mouth breather.
It's not even like good audio. It's just some dude talking over Cam Ward while Cam Ward is trying to talk.
He's got a gamer headset on, but at least you can tell that he's not impartial. You know what I mean? He's not going to have to worry about him. I'm a Titans fan. I'm going to lean into the fandom. Listen to him name his favorite NFL head coaches.
Well, I'm not naming top 5. I'm naming 5 head coaches I like. Number 1.
In the NFL right now?
Number 1.
Shut up.
Brian Callahan.
Okay, who's number 2?
Okay.
Number 2. Brian Callahan.
Okay, very interesting. What about 3?
Number 3. Brian Callahan. Number 4.
I'm starting to see the pattern.
Brian Callahan. Number 5.
Number 5?
Brian Callahan.
Bang.
I love it.
The only thing that's more annoying than this entire topic is the dude in the background that won't shut the hell up.
Starting to see a pattern here.
Oh, my God.
That he just says. So, as we noted before, that is doctored. He did have Callahan as his number 1 ranked coach.
Do you want to hear the real clip?
Yes, let's hear the real. No, because there is a pattern in the real clip.
Well, I'm not naming top 5. I'm naming 5 head coaches I like. Number 1.
In the NFL right now?
Number 1. Brian Callahan. Number 2. Stefanski.
Okay.
Number 3. Brian Daboll. Number 4.
I'm starting to see the pattern.
Pete Carroll. Number 5. Aaron Glenn.
What's the pattern there, Buck? Please, can you figure out the pattern on that one?
I have no idea.
Oh, come on. He's just naming coaches of teams in draft order that need a quarterback.
Oh, that's fine.
He just goes from Titans to Browns to Giants, skips the Patriots and the Jags to Raiders and Jets.
Okay. Haha. It's so funny. Can we do something else now?
No, first I want to make fun of how he says NFL coaches' names. You know when Urkel, you guys ever watch Family Matters with Steve Urkel? Steve Urkel would step into this machine that would turn him handsome, and he would turn into Stefan. Did not know Stefan was also an NFL head coach.
Stefanski.
Today.
So he's putting it out there in the open. I don't know what's the funniest one of those. Traylon Burks is the 4th best receiver in the NFL?
Yes.
Brian Callahan as the best coach in the NFL? Or Tony Pollard and Tyjae Spears as the best running back?
Traylon Burks.
Yeah, it's Traylon Burks. It's Traylon Burks.
I love this so much.
All right, well, then explain to me what I'm missing here. Like, honestly. Like, what am I supposed to care about with this?
Did you not hear him say the Giants head coach?
Brian Daboll.
We have done a lot of lame stuff. There's never been a lamer topic on this radio show
that
than
is
that.
so untrue.
Do you guys know who We Grow Hair markets to? People who are Brian
Daboll.
Do you get it?
It's just the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah, I heard you. I heard you the first 3 times you said this. You haven't said anything interesting about it. You haven't told me why I'm supposed to care about it. You've just said, oh, my God, the player that the Titans are going to pick. You keep saying Titans players into a microphone while playing a video game. Yeah, I got that part. What else?
Oh, man, you got to lighten up, buddy.
You got to tune in tomorrow where apparently he's going to play checkers and chess.
I hate the pre-draft process. The last 2 weeks before the draft are the worst. Just the worst. Like, just take it around back, Old Yeller style, and put it down. Enough of this. Just draft the player so we can talk about football and not about Cam Ward's Fortnite streams.
The praise is pouring in here. Joseph on the F&M Bank chat says, I can't wait for the day that Buck is nowhere near the Titans. Benjamin Buck says, Burt needs to
Good
use
luck.
this clip
You got 2 more years
all the
before
time now that Buck hates it. Davey says, Buck is so bothered by almost nothing, LOL. Marciano says...
It's almost nothing. That's why I'm bothered. It's literally almost nothing. The fact that we are spending 11 minutes on Traylon Burks.
Traylon Burks.
Marciano says, LOL, Buck's just mad there's no bottle service.
Drinking would help this.
I would say...
Infinitely. Where's the girl from the
Tony
pickleback
Pollard.
place?
Juan says, Buck is such a bitter man, but I guess that's what happens when you cover the Titans.
Yeah. Yes, it does. Terrible football will do this to you. Prolonged exposure to crappy football will suck the joy out of your life to the point where the most entertaining thing that you have to look forward to when you walk into work at noon on a Wednesday is the future, not even the quarterback yet, the future potential quarterback's Twitch stream.
Oh, ye of little faith. Buck,
sit on it and spin.
Do you not see the real takeaway from this?
No.
I'm going to do my best Brian Windhorse.
You better, because we got 2 more minutes in this segment for you two to kill talking about the quarterback's live stream.
Who was it that Cam Ward did not name? Why is it that Chig was not mentioned? Does that tell you that the Titans may be targeting a different tight end in the NFL draft? A tight end class that includes a former teammate, Elijah Arroyo, a player that they could select at 35. Maybe he didn't mention Chig because he knows something that you don't know, Buck. He knows what the Titans will do at 35. That doesn't include trading back. It doesn't include trading up. It includes drafting his former teammate.
4, 3,
Elijah
2, 1.
Arroyo. See? That wasn't so bad.
There you go. Look at that. Got something out of it. Reed Barker tweets at us, says, I bet Buck is fun at parties. Can confirm. Buck is terrible at parties. You pull out a fun, harmless little party game. Everybody sit down. We're going to play Uno. What's your go-to party game, Bert?
Losers play Uno at parties?
Uno is awesome. Don't
Ride
slander
the Bus.
Uno. Ride the bus?
Yeah, if you're drinking before you go to a party.
Oh, what's the game we always play at your house when you had the big table in the middle and we would all slap the cups?
People have different names for that. Chandelier. Yeah, that's one of them.
I just wish that we were
what
doing...
is this? This is stupid. We're playing a game?
Why are we
We're
smacking plastic cups?
Just putting cards down on a table?
You're
this
not
is
even
ridiculous.
recycling.
Yeah, at a party where these things matter.
Who filled this cup with liquor? I asked for still water.
Fortunately for us, we have much more important things to do, like go to the zoo and interview animals. I'm Buck Rising at 104.5 The Zone. We've got a huge announcement from Two Rivers Ford. They are now offering employee pricing for everyone. That means you pay what they pay on almost every new Ford on the lot. And at Two Rivers Ford, what you see is always what you get. They don't do things like add expensive accessories or tack on service packages to increase the price of the vehicles. Two Rivers Ford is upfront and honest every single time. And now they're offering you employee pricing. There's no better time to buy American, and there's no better dealership than Two Rivers Ford. Locally owned and operated for over 40 years, home of the non-commissioned sales team, and now home of employee pricing for everyone. From America, for America, Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer.
We love being part of the moments that matter, which is why we're announcing employee pricing for everyone. You pay what we pay. Employee pricing at Two Rivers Ford. Locally owned, American made.
Welcome back to the show. We are fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. 615-737-1045 is the number. I have not heard this song since like 8th grade / freshman year of high school, when people were still acting like they didn't like Nickelback songs, and now Nickelback has gone through the kind of LeBron, Brady, Belichick arc that we were talking about, hero to villain to hero again. They're back, baby.
Cheyenne's good for this every once in a while. She'll be like, can I play a song? And I think she's just wanting to like look through my messages and make sure that no women are trying to steal me away. But she always plugs in a song like this. She played this the other day. I was like, wow, I probably haven't heard this in 5 or 6 years.
Banger. So, Nico's side has spoken up about this situation that is ongoing with, well, it's not ongoing with the University of Tennessee. The University of Tennessee's part in it is largely done, except they have to find Nico Yimalava's replacement, because the question is, who plays quarterback for the Vols? But for Nico's side of things, who is speaking out about the situation and how things fell apart over the course of the last 5 days between Nico Yimalava and the University of Tennessee football program?
So Front Office Sports has done some digging on this in a phone interview with a close family friend of Nick Yimalava, Nico's father. This family friend, according to Front Office Sports, has been heavily involved with the entire situation. Very close family friend. So here's the quote. The narrative was BS, says this friend, who again declined to be identified by name.
Yeah.
And then in parentheses, Front Office Sports writes, other Front Office Sports sources close to the talks dispute these claims, that the narrative was BS, the narrative being that they were pushing for more NIL money. They are denying publicly that it had anything to do with money. Even still, the report continues, Yimalava's camp refuses to relinquish control, blaming Tennessee and the school Spire Sports NIL collective for the situation. Quote, his representation hasn't steered him wrong, the family friend says. At the end of the day, what did we do wrong to steer him and put him in a bad situation? We didn't. So, Front Office Sports is reporting that Nico's side is standing their ground, saying that it's not true that the dispute is all about money, and remaining steadfast that they have done nothing wrong in their handling of the entire situation, obviously on Nico's behalf, as he flounders in the portal right now, hoping to maybe get half of what he was already making at Tennessee. Thank you, Don.
That's Don. Don just casually accusing people of hard drug usage. You remember when Bill Clinton got to the podium and said, "I did not have sexual relations with that woman"?
How could I forget, even though I was a toddler?
I think he said, "I did not sleep with that woman. In fact, I was up all night."
Oh.
Come on, that was...
If you have to feebly crawl back to the microphone with, "Come on, that was good," whilst laughing at your own bad joke.
Laughing at your solemn face.
Yeah. So lying is what's happening here, as best I can tell. And I don't know. I mean, the damage is already done to your reputation. Certainly you don't have to. I mean, who's more concerned about their family's management of the situation? Nico Yimalava or Madden? Because Madden Yimalava is
his younger brother,
unscathed by this so far.
I don't know, man. His situation, Madden Yimalava was not able to play a single snap in his senior year of high school because his dad transferred him, trying to get him into a better situation. He was ruled ineligible. He had to sit out his entire senior year. Madden Yimalava, a 4-star quarterback, for those who don't know, was committed to UCLA and then at the very last second flipped to Arkansas despite an admission from Nick Yimalava that they never once set foot on Arkansas's campus. So this is a pattern here.
Yeah.
We've seen this, and we saw this even with Nico going all the way back to the high school days. Like, this has been happening with this family from the jump. So if this trend continues, hell, we might see a similar situation with Madden unless some sort of guardrails get put up here, unless revenue sharing becomes solidified and then there's a way to police NIL deals. But this has already happened a little bit with Madden Yimalava, obviously not nearly as high profile.
I don't want to refer to this as the Nico situation anymore. It is the Nick Yimalava and Cordell Lander situation. And by extension, Nico Yimalava has been impacted.
Yeah, but I don't think you can do that.
I'm going to.
If Nico's the one being impacted, it is the Nico situation. He is the one whose career, reputation is on the line. He's the face of this thing. It just is what it is. It's unfortunate, but it is a Nico Yimalava situation.
People are making him the face of this thing when the face of this thing is the person who went on Twitter afterwards and called the reporter who accurately reported the situation the what?
The B word.
The B word. Nico is the more famous person in the situation. Thereby, he becomes the face of it. But this is not Nico's fault. This is his representation's fault. His representation is his father and a former quarterback coach, who I believe was a staffer at Florida at one time.
Yes. Cordell Landers.
Neither of whom are considered certified agents and who have royally bleeped maybe both of their kids in this circumstance while trying to do what? I don't know. Leverage their situation miles beyond what was their control. I am still a proponent of try to get as much money as you think you're able to make. But the process in which has played out here, or lack thereof, and the lack of professionalism that these people have conducted themselves with, and the lack of knowledge that they seem to have about the circumstance as they were heading into whatever negotiations they were trying to drag out of the University of Tennessee, they have botched this top to bottom for Nico to the point where Nico is now the one being villainized by Vols fans instead of the people who are actually the villains in this story. And I hate that. I can't stand that.
Yeah, it sucks.
Even though there's nothing I can do about it except say, no, it's not his fault. It's Nick's fault. It's his dad's fault. It's Cordell Lander's fault. They are the guilty parties here. They are the ones who continue to stick their feet in their mouths while trying to go out there and do damage control when they were the first ones to botch the whole thing on social media and behind the scenes. And now we're just, I guess, going to go around to CBS Sports and Front Office Sports and whomever else and give the kind of quotes, no, it was Tennessee's fault. Look at them. No, you idiots.
So Front Office Sports continues on saying that the dispute dates all the way back to December 2024 when Tennessee was eliminated from the CFP. And Nico's reps had a conversation with Coach Josh Heupel and explained what they would need in order for him to stay. And according to this friend that spoke with Front Office Sports, Big Nick, Nico's dad, said, quote, "We want you guys to reassure us that you're going to recruit and get the offensive line right, that you're going to go out there and you're going to get receivers." He says, in parentheses, Yimalava had suffered multiple concussions and 2 cracked helmets throughout the course of the 2024 season. I remember the one concussion suffered against Mississippi State. I don't remember multiple concussions, but we move on. The family friend denies to Front Office Sports that these conversations had anything to do with money. He says Nick went to Tennessee and said, "No, we just want O-line and receiver help." But a different source with knowledge of these conversations says Yimalava's camp did ask Spire Sports for a raise at the time and that the collective made multiple counteroffers. Yimalava's camp became increasingly unresponsive and ultimately left the organization confused about whether he would, in fact, enter the transfer portal. And then last week, coaches called Yimalava into multiple meetings to ask whether he intended to transfer, to which he replied that as long as they brought in the recruits he pushed for, he was all in on the Vols, this friend said to Front Office Sports. Now, we know that Tennessee brought in Sam Pendleton, the Notre Dame transfer, Wendell Moe, the Arizona transfer that has ties with the Yimalava family. They brought in Amari Jefferson, a wide receiver from Alabama, but they could still add another receiver in the portal, to be quite honest. And then the report comes out from On3 Sports on Thursday, and Nico's father has the emotional reaction, calls him the B word on Twitter. And the family friend reiterated Nick's tweet to Front Office Sports saying, quote, "Nico's not asking for no money. He don't even have those money conversations," which we believe at this point. Yeah. And then
can I hear from Pete Thamel before we go any further on this? Pete Thamel, yes, Pete Thamel, who's doing some reporting on this, who was just recently on the Pat McAfee show.
Considering publicly what his side said today, and look, Josh Heupel had to cut ties after he skipped practice. I think it's highly, 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 highly unlikely. I would never say never, but I would think it's a less than 1% chance. And I think it's, in a lot of ways, Pat, it is the best place for him, right? He had a very good first year as a starter. In that Heupel system, if you look back historically, the guys really get locked and loaded in the second year. That's when everything becomes, they really have it mastered and everything becomes second nature. So Tennessee upgraded its offensive line. They have better receivers. Nico was not in a great position to thrive last year. He played well. Struggled in some big games, but he generally played well. I would have thought he would really emerge as like a top 5 SEC quarterback this season. And but I do not, just considering how tense things are right now, I'd be pretty shocked if a reunion happened.
Well, it's Pete Thamel, ESPN's lead college football insider on the Pat McAfee show.
And then, Robert, can we hear from Joel Klatt, who apparently had some inside information on this as well when he was on with First Things First on Fox?
Okay, so you're referring to Nico Yimalava at Tennessee, and the news is that he's demanding more money. Tennessee said no and pound sand, and now he's leaving. I'm here to tell you, there's a lot more to that story. That is a narrative being pushed. And think about it. This makes sense. He's a 21-year-old kid, and now he's alone and teamless with no PR behind him whatsoever. Meanwhile, the University of Tennessee has their entire apparatus and fan base against this kid. Of course, this is the narrative that's going to be pushed, but I'm here to tell you there's always more to the story. Now, did he demand more money, him or his people? Probably. Did he also, I've been told, ask that the offense grow a little bit because of what I was just discussing about the draft process for quarterbacks going into the NFL? Yes, he did. And I think he was unhappy. I think his people and his team were unhappy with the way that spring ball was going, in particular seeing that the offense was not changing and was not growing. This is the old Art Briles Baylor offense that Tennessee uses. No quarterback has really succeeded going from that offense and into the National Football League. So there was some discussion about this growth of the offense that I don't feel like they thought took place. So there's more to this story than just money. There always is. And unfortunately for him, he's being pitted as the villain in the story. Now, did he ask for more money? Probably, likely. Who's the real villain in this story, though? See, Brew, let's really talk about, like, is it Tennessee? No. Is it Josh Heupel? No. Is it the boosters? No. Is it Nico Yimalava? No. It is the NCAA.
Yes.
They abdicated their responsibility to govern the sport.
That's what I've been screaming even before he left Tennessee.
Okay, but can we acknowledge that, yes, this is a situation caused by the NCAA's lack of action over many, many years, and also that there are bad actors in this?
Yes. But none of the people he named are bad actors to me.
No.
Nick Yimalava. I almost cussed. Yimalava is the bad actor. He was not named in that clip.
Yeah. Like, a lot of the things Joel is saying there, probably accurate. I believe that the family, that was also a big part of this. We want better offensive line. We want more wide receiver help. I totally believe that. But I also believe that money was a huge part of the conversation. And maybe Tennessee didn't do as much as they would have wanted in the winter portal, maybe especially at the wide receiver spot, to where they said, okay, to make up for the lack of moves at receiver, we're going to need a little extra. Maybe that's where that $4 million range came from. Like, I'm just speculating. But I am of the belief that it was all a part of it. Wide receivers, offensive line, money. But they obviously went about it in the complete wrong way.
Yeah, it's just how you divvy up the percentages of what was the driving factor, and what we all believe to be the driving factor was the financial
But
situation.
I don't want to just put the NCAA up here and say it's all their fault. Yes, it is all their fault, but also you can handle it differently.
Sure. Nobody's disputing that.
Like, if you leave your front door unlocked and your house gets robbed, you bear some responsibility. Like, you left your door unlocked.
Yes.
But the people that robbed your house also should bear some responsibility for going into a stranger's house and robbing the house.
Yes.
So just because the NCAA
But the NCAA is the person who left my door unlocked.
Yeah, for sure. But
not me. I didn't leave the door unlocked. The NCAA, and if we're to make this analogy apt, the NCAA is the person who left my door unlocked, and then I got robbed after the fact.
I know. I just feel like doing that, because I've seen Joel Klatt do that. I've seen Ryan Clark do that. It's not Nico. It's not. And when they say it's not Nico, they mean Nico's camp. It's like,
I mean, it's not like.
How does this happen so frequently?
Well, because he eats the entire show. He just sits there shoveling pork rinds and
beef jerky today.
Beef jerky, potato chips.
Thought I was safe today.
I just, how does this happen? He just sits there and eats for 3 hours.
The first time
we're
it
going
happened,
to lunch after this.
I was upset because I was like, dang it. No one would have seen that. It wasn't on camera. And now he's done it like 5 times.
It's my version of the NCAA. The only guardrails that I have to keep Lucas from just constantly shoveling food into his face during the show is the fact that he can choke and die on air.
Well, you would think that we would be helped by the fact that he's slowed down. He's hampered by his injury. So I would think he would be less likely and have less time to go get the snacks.
No, that's the one thing that he will not be deterred from. He limped over to the vending machine and then came back with literally an armful of snacks, as if we're literally not going to lunch before the zoo.
I'm not upset about him eating. I'm upset that he didn't offer to share. That's what has me just totally pissed off.
I'll buy you something.
I'll
buy you something at the zoo.
I'm back. We're back, baby.
While we're wheeling him around in one of these safari carts that are there for the 2-year-olds, the strollers.
I can't wait.
He's immobilized. Somebody suggested in the FNM Bank chat that perhaps Nico should answer all of these questions on a Fortnite stream. That would be a productive use of the Fortnite stream.
I would definitely pay
Not
for it.
Traylon Burks and your top 4 wide receivers in the NFL. It's just so stupid.
He just starts naming UCLA wideouts.
That's right.
Traylon Burks.
Who's the best receiver in college football? I can't name a single player on UCLA's roster.
Well, he's going to have to adjust that if Traylon Burks gets cut, But
so we can agree on that. Like, yes, the NCAA ultimately is culpable for the overarching situation. But also, this hasn't happened yet.
Not to this extent.
A player's camp putting the player in such a bad spot. Like, they bear responsibility, too. Just because the NCAA is culpable
of course.
doesn't mean it's like, no, it's just, don't worry, forget about them. It's just the NCAA. It's also on them.
Yes, but them includes the player who has made the face of this, and he is such a small percentage of this. The only responsibility that Nico Yimalava has in the middle of all of this, to me, is the fact that he plays quarterback, and somebody tried to leverage that. Somebody who is in his camp tried to leverage that beyond what Nico himself probably would have leveraged. Because I'm sure he would have just been fine to go along and get along and play for the money. And I know that's an assumption. It's not like I know anything about him. The only time that I've been around him and his dad, and I don't know if it was his cousin or maybe this Landers guy, but they were at Elite 11. They were at Elite 11 when Trent Dilfer was still here coaching Lipscomb, and they hosted Elite 11 at Lipscomb's campus because it's well set up for NFL players to train during the offseason and for things like Elite 11 to take place, and that was very much a priority for Dilfer while he was here. And I remember trying to go talk to Nico Yimalava because there was media there, and most people were trying to talk. I can't remember the name of the Ravenwood quarterback that went to play
Chris
at Florida
Parson.
State. Chris Parson.
He went to Mississippi State.
But didn't he initially commit to Florida State?
Oh, he might have been committed. I can't remember.
I think he initially committed and then he went to Mississippi State. But long story short, Nico was the star of the show there. And so naturally, if I'm wandering around Elite 11, I'm going to go to talk to the most likely Division I prospect that's there. Lucas, they had a perimeter set up around this poor kid because Dad and whomever else was there with him, that Elite 11 had provided a tent so they could sit on the sidelines where no other parents are, but they are, and make sure that nobody could get close to Nico without a certain monetary situation being involved or a certain level of profile being involved. And right then and there, you know, okay, this is probably going to be problematic for this kid at some point because parents like that exist everywhere, unfortunately. And I know that's an easy stone for me to cast as somebody who doesn't have kids and isn't interested in them.
So their camp is saying it's not about money.
Yeah. It was about money when he was in high school. It's about money when he went to college. It's about money now. Stop lying.
And he almost assuredly now, they're saying it's about the situation. They wanted more offensive line help, more receiver help. He almost assuredly will be in a worse situation now in 2025 with the options or lack thereof that are in front of him. And for them to say it's not about money, well, now that's getting tested because schools can sit there and say, well, you say it's not about money. So here you go, $1 million. Take it or leave it.
$1 million. I'd go lower than that.
Yeah.
615-737-1045 is the number. If you have any phone calls, it's the last call for them. We'll update some polls, get out of here, and go to the zoo and film some cool stuff at the zoo. Coming up next.
Hey guys, it's Lucas to tell you about the coolest new spot in Nashville. It is Fog Street Lawn Club, Nashville's premier soccer pub, your go-to spot to watch Nashville SC games, and it's open early for Premier League action, even those 6 a.m. kickoffs. But no matter the sport, Fog Street Lawn Club will make sure you're not going to miss a moment. Plenty of space, plenty of TVs, and you will never get bored. Spend the whole day there. Check out the rooftop with the most picture-perfect view of downtown Nashville you're going to find. Trust me on that one. Play British-style lawn bowling or cornhole up on the rooftop for free, or head next door. Challenge your friends to some axe throwing at Bad Axe. It's located near the Gulch in the upcoming Pie Town neighborhood, right over there next to Third Man Records. Fog Street Lawn Club will give you the experience of downtown Nashville with a perfect escape from the hustle and bustle and just the craziness of Broadway. It's family friendly, great for all sports fans, and you can host special events, birthday parties, corporate events, even weddings, not to mention an excellent menu of British pub style food and a large drink selection. Happy hour Monday through Thursday, 3 to 6 p.m. And come see them at Fog Street Lawn Club, located on Fog Street.
Welcome back to the show. We are fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. The show is mercifully almost over, which means our trip to the zoo is finally upon us. The Nashville Zoo, we've got something special cooked up with them. Really, we're just going to let Bert run loose, and apparently they've agreed to let him have access to some of these animals. So
they should know my background. I've been around animals my whole life.
What didn't you try to tell me one time that your dad was a peacock farmer?
Not a peacock farmer, that he hates peacocks. My dad despises peacocks because y'all know the call they make. Have y'all ever heard of peacock before?
Oh, please.
It'll and you can't get rid of them. They'll hide in any kind of brush, trees, whatever you got. So there was a livestock auction going on. Me and my brother went down there, and this was in 2014, 2015, bought 2 peacocks for him. Did not tell him about this, just released them in the yard. God. And he tried to run them over with a truck.
My goodness.
They were saved by a bamboo forest.
No.
They lived for like 5 or 6 years. My dad always said he hated them, but deep down, I know he really hated them. Not a big fan.
I'm glad to know that they...
I can't even tell you the second one's name. It was just one of them's names was P, and the other one was Bolstrous.
Go
let's
Cox.
say. Yes, yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Well, we've avoided the we've been pretty strategic about avoiding reference to the male anatomy. For example, pictures we've dubbed Richard pics.
There you go.
As opposed to what they're commonly called. Anyway. So we're heading to the zoo after this, and we're going to see what happens there. I suppose we'll interview animals. I don't know what Hamish, the Highland cow, is going to suggest that the Titans do with the number 1 overall pick, but you'll have to tune in and find out later.
You know what I suggest people do?
What do you suggest people do?
Join 104.5 The Zone for our 2025 Golf Classic, which is presented by Ferguson, Monday, June 9th at Nashville Golf and Athletic Club. You probably are feeling like getting out there after watching the Masters last weekend, doing your best impression of Rory McIlroy. Located in the heart of Cool Springs, this historic golf course features breathtaking panoramic views of the beautiful Middle Tennessee countryside. Purchase your team today. There are 2 flights, 8 a.m. or 1 p.m., and spend the day teeing off with us. Every show will be broadcasting live. For more info or to purchase a team, head to 1045thezone.com.
And I have a special one-time offer. If you get a team and you are in the 1 o'clock flight, I will be your caddy. I will. If you want it, all you got to do when you buy your tickets, submit a note and say, I want Bert as my caddy. I will come caddy for you in the 1 o'clock flight.
Yeah, but you have zero value added as a caddy.
I'm good at making shotgun holes for beers. I'm good at telling you, yeah, you look like you should use a 4-wedge iron wood there. Like, I can say all those things. I just really
all at once?
Is that not a club? I just want to wear the hat. I just want to, and the cool socks that people have over their golf clubs.
No, I need you in one of those caddy outfits.
I can do that if you pay for it.
Well, actually, I think I know where to get one because we were at the Governor's Club on Monday, right?
Yes,
and I told you that on Saturday I was at the Governor's Club because a friend of mine lives in that neighborhood, and they had a couple shower. Have you been to a couple shower?
We discussed this Monday. I don't understand the concept.
It's just a concept that is devised to get more gifts and more money out of people prior to your wedding. But what was this
couple? What were they celebrating?
Them being a couple, I guess. I don't know.
Are you serious? They're not even engaged?
No, they're engaged. It's like a precursor to the wedding. It's not a wedding shower. It's a couple shower. I don't know. I wish that I'm new to these things because all of my friends are either married.
Comprehend what you're saying.
They're through their first marriage or now onto their second in a lot of cases. Because now that I'm into my 30s at this point and the divorce rate is what it is, But you got about a coin flip shot of making it. Good luck to the 2 of you. That was not very nice of me.
I always love this event. This is honestly one of my favorite events.
No, I'm not talking about the golf
every year. Oh, sorry, I was on the phone.
But my
mom.
My point is, I went to this party and it was Masters themed because the Masters Saturday obviously going on. So they have a game that they play, and you guess they give you a sheet. It's like a scorecard. And they give you a sheet, and there's some prompts. So the questions are like, all right, who do the dogs love more? And you either pick bride or groom.
Oh, this is gross.
Who said I love you first? You pick bride or groom. Who made the first move? I know. These people were delighted by it. I hated
this.
Hated it. And by the way, there was a listener of the show there. So I'm sorry if I'm taking out your friends and whoever put it on. It's a lovely party. Food, out of this world. Scenery, excellent. I could do without the couple shower thing.
Hopefully
anyway,
you stole something from their house.
I don't steal things. I'm not you.
Okay, borrow.
Okay, well, stop saying that because we're going to the zoo and now they're worried you're going to steal the red panda. I am, so we're going through this game. I'm playing the game, whatever. And they have bride and groom sit in front of a crowd and they ask them the prompts. All right, who said I love you first? And bride waves the blue towel for the groom.
Oh, God.
And groom waves the pink towel for the bride, right? And then you take score. Whoever got closest is the winner, and we weren't sure what we won. They had a custom Masters green jacket for the person who won this game.
Oh, my God.
And they had a loser caddy outfit for the person who scored the fewest amount. So I have access to this caddy outfit.
I'm going to throw up.
That says loser on it, and I would like for you to run around in that at the golf event that I will not be in attendance for because I decided to take a vacation day.
Hopefully it fits. But honestly, in June, it might be a little too snug, and I'll have to let the belly out.
Well, it's worth noting that at the 104.5 The Zone Golf Classic, everybody has carts. So when Robert says he'll be your caddy, he means he'll ride around in your golf cart wearing that outfit and giving you tips and cracking jokes the whole time.
Drinking all of your fine liqueur.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's do some polls. I assume that Tony is Tony the stud, the loser that I fucking despise. You're not talking to me.
He's a good boy.
Presented by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. What's the dumbest thing in sports this week? Jake says the $4 million asking price for Nico, or the comments that Nico Harrison said. So let's just say sports figures with the name Nico. Did you see anything come out of that Nico Harrison round table with reporters that no recorders or cameras were allowed at?
No, it turns out it's tough to be a reporter if you don't have a recorder or a camera or a...
Well, there was a transcript out there, but so,
I didn't see anything that caught my attention, no.
I didn't see anything either, but maybe we could talk about this tomorrow. There was some Nico Harrison saying, like I said, we believe in the move we made. You obviously don't, and that's fine, and you're entitled to your opinions, but we're excited about the future of our team.
Shut up.
Things like that.
Liar.
Det says Colorado retiring Shador's number is his dumbest thing in sports this week.
Nothing dumber than Titans fans giggling like schoolgirls because the future quarterback said Traylon Burks' name on a live stream. Dumb.
Let fans fan. Vols fans.
Yeah, that's fine, but it's dumb.
Do you have a dream portal quarterback? Christofero, who's been in the replies a lot lately, appreciate you hanging out with us, says Jaden Rashada. Jaden Rashada, who was not an example of this. It was a very different situation where Florida promised something and he didn't get it, and now he's in a lawsuit with Florida. Rashada went to Arizona State, to Georgia, and now he's in the portal again, the former four-star prospect.
Again?
Yes, he is in the portal again from Georgia.
God.
PGK.
Does he just stink?
Tony, I don't know, says Jalen Daniels, the Kansas quarterback. Now, that would be intriguing. I wonder if Tennessee has a, what did I say? Did I say?
No, I just wanted to make sure that I reiterated that.
Yeah, Jalen, Jalon.
Yes.
Yes. Would be an interesting plug-and-play option. You wonder if Tennessee has kicked the tires on him. Does Cam Ward know ball? 84% say yes, he does.
Not based on his talent evaluation that I heard on this Twitch stream that you all are giddy about.
That's the double-edged sword there for Cam Ward. Like, you endear yourself to the fan base.
Yeah, and also you give the rest of the internet the opportunity to freezing cold take your ass when Traylon Burks is in your top 4 wide receivers. So stupid.
I just appreciate how on the nose he was with it.
I appreciate the best part of that is that he's funny. I love that he's got a sense of humor, that he's quick with it. That's all great. The big deal made out of it after the fact. That's okay, whatever.
AJ Brown's a dog, but he's not Calvin Ridley.
Like, that's what I'm saying. It's just funny. Nobody's making a big deal out of it. We're
Literally,
just laughing at it.
The entire fan base is just in a euphoria because he said Calvin Ridley is better than AJ Brown. Like, you dopes don't know that that's not true.
That's why it's
Traylon
funny.
Burks.
Yeah.
Also, not good for Traylon Burks that someone will say he's a top 4 receiver and we're calling that guy great sense of humor because he said Traylon Burks is a top 4 receiver.
Well, that's going to be awkward at some point when they have to talk about that. Be like, am I really your top 4? Am I really, Cam? Am I really, please?
Where will the first trade happen in the NFL draft? Top 5, top 10, or will it be top 20? 45% say top 10, 37.8% say top 5, 17.1% say top 20.
I bet top 20.
You think we go the whole top 10 without a trade? Has that ever happened? Surely that's happened.
I'm sure at some point I don't have the documentation to be able to speak one way or the other, but like, I don't know, New Orleans is 9. Like, they may just take the quarterback and not have to trade.
Yeah. Which Nashville zoo animal would be your number 1 overall pick? Tyler says either the rhino to set a strong foundation on the line or the porcupine to set up a dangerous run game.
Ooh.
Not as dangerous as Tyjae Spears and Tony Pollard, if you ask Cam Ward. Ooh, this is good from Christofero. Man, dropping all sorts of dimes in the replies lately.
I just think you like saying that name and you're reading his name gratuitously.
I really do, but this is
like
a good answer.
There are other people that tweet the show. It's not just this one guy.
It's usually the same 5 people.
Okay.
He says, miniature Sicilian donkey for their low center of gravity, unmatched grit, high football IQ, and Sicilian swagger.
You did it because it's Sicilian.
Yes.
Your Italian biases are showing again.
That's discrimination by you.
Anti-Italian discrimination.
Those are the polls.
That's the show. We're going to the zoo. Thank God the Twitch talk is done. Prime time tonight. I'll see you there.